This week on NintenDomain, Tetris is Forever and Yakuza is finally coming to the Switch.
My shadow is behind me, and it's tree-shaped.
It's a double direct.
Listen closely, approach me, suckers mostly. Those who try to treat me like greater than toast me impossible. I cut a sucker in small chunks, make more rhymes than Michael Jordan makes slams. I'm slow, prerogative. Mix the lyric like the bass with the treble. Take a deep breath, getting funky as my lungs release a solid rhyme. Switches on the repeats, slacking. Never stop, so I continue on. With the first word is white, word is born. I made your imperfection out of indulgent fantasy. Take a mile in the start. Like me.
It is a double direct, and actually,
Double direct.
I thought about saying this also at the beginning. Since this is a double direct, and since a lot of these games are releasing next year, does that mean that we're not getting Switch 2 for a long time? Is what it seems like. Because there was a lot of 2025 stuff on there, even though they said this is about 2024 releases. They lied. They always lie.
Lied
They
again.
lie to you.
Yep.
Well, you got to remember, they're not going to stop supporting the Switch immediately if the successor comes out.
Yeah. I was just like, some of these were pretty late though, or like pretty late 2025 releases, and I'm like, I mean, I guess it should just be able to go to both, but I don't know. But I was gonna say, who doesn't lie to you is us, your hosts, who are.
Oh, we've never told the lies.
Not intentionally.
Never.
Maybe we're wrong times, mostly me, but I didn't mean it. Anyway, we're your hosts. I'm Trey. I'm here to see your dead, Johnson.
I'm Jeremy. Video game purgatory. Mikowski.
I'm John. Forgot I have a PC knitter.
Did you put Steam on it yet?
Not yet. No, I found this piece, which I forgot that I had. Then I ended up going over to my sister's house for the week to dog sit. So I haven't really got to toy around with it that much.
It is portable. You can take it with you.
It is portable. That's true.
Unbeknownst to us, but beknownst to Nintendo, or whatever, there was a big double direct, which I actually didn't really think was going to be that much, but it ended up being like
it was a lot,
kind of a lot. Yeah,
meaty.
It was a 40-minute direct between two different things. I at first I saw like Indie World, it was like Indie World Showcase, and I'm like, Indie World, whatever. But then it was like Partner Showcase, and I was like, oh, okay. So we all made bingo cards as we normally do, so we can kind of go through our stuff that we have on there. I was trying to have fun with mine. I was just really just being silly. Like, I didn't really think a whole lot of them were going to happen, but I've been in this crazy like fighting game renaissance thing. So I was like, how many fighting games can we put on this bingo card? So I pretty much made them all, mostly probably like 80% fighting games mixed with some stuff that I thought might happen. But most of it is stuff. But some of them actually had like, decent detective work in there. So, because like, I'll just kind of go through them right now. Like, King of Fighters 30th Anniversary Collection, I put on my bingo card. And the reason I put that on there is because it was the King of Fighters 30th Anniversary a couple days ago. And the Twitter account said there will be, that we will be announcing something soon involving that. And there's not like a collection of King of Fighter games on Switch that you can play with people online or anything like that. So it made perfect sense for there to be a King of Fighters collection. But there still has not been one yet. But they are all on sale right now. All of the arcade, the arcade classic things, all the King of Fighter ones are half off, so they're like $4 instead of $8. And you can also buy a global match, King of Fighters 13 for $16 instead of $20, which I'll end up getting that because I remember playing that game for PlayStation 3 and it looks beautiful. Like, it has incredible animation. Like, the backgrounds are really cool. So I played that one before, and friends of mine have it as well, and they've requested that I buy it so we can play it online. So yeah, I'll do that. Other things that I had on my bingo card, Ultra Street Fighter 4, just because Street Fighter 4 never made it to Switch. It was on 3DS, but it never made it to Switch. Like, what the fuck? It was a PlayStation 3 game. It's a really good game. I've been playing Super Street Fighter 4 on my PS3, and it's awesome. Time Splitters 1 through 3, just because they, just put those on PlayStation, so why not put them on Switch too? We got them. I know they're like direct ports of PS2, but you never know. There might be some sort of Time Splitters thing out there floating that maybe they're going to release it on other systems. Probably not the best wording, but I put I mean, John pointed out, but the Mortal Kombat Classic Collection, all with Ks,
Yep.
just because they have Ks for everything. But I didn't want to say Arcade Collection because I don't want to limit it just to Mortal Kombat 1 through 4. I'd really like to see a re-release of like the GameCube era of Mortal Kombat games. And they don't really re-release re-release any of their Mortal Kombat games anymore, aside from like 1 through 3 and like arcade. You know, you can get like the 1-up arcades of that, but not 4. Like 4 has never been released in any way. I guess from what I heard from Retronauts, there's like, I guess they don't have like a good ROM of it or whatever that's arcade perfect, and that's why they never re-released it in any collection or whatever. But get on that. I mean, I don't know. The 64 version was pretty good. Re-released that one, but no, I'd like to see like the GameCube ones, like Deadly Alliance and Deception and Armageddon, in a collection. That would be really cool. You know, like
it's about time for an MK collection.
Like the last, I mean, you have, you know, because Mortal Kombat they'll do like a bunch of games, and they did Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, and Ultimate 3 and Trilogy. So they did the trilogy that kind of like capped off when they were doing the picture, you know, the characters that were actually actors and all that. And then they did like 4, and then they did 4, and 4 was, you know, was really hard to do. And then they did the GameCube era where it was like Deadly Alliance. Like I said, Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon. And Armageddon had all of the characters from those games at the end of that. So they all kind of cap everything off. And then they did the reboot on PlayStation 3, which I've also been playing, which is really, really good, Mortal Kombat 9. But they haven't really, they never really re-released any of those old ones. And I was hoping they'd be looking at Capcom. Capcom's like, oh yeah, we'll release all our stuff. You know, we don't care. Like, we'll do all of it. And I would wish like them to look over there and be, hey, look at what Capcom's doing. We should release some of our old stuff as well. And they did do like an arcade. I mean, well, they did the Midway Arcade Treasures, which was actually done by Digital Eclipse. And they did like, you know, where you could also do Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. You could buy those for PlayStation and PlayStation Portable and stuff like that. But then it kind of, for PS3, but then like after that, it just stopped. Like you didn't see it on anything else. So it just seems like be a pretty easy buck there, you know, if you put it out there. Another one I would really love to see, and this would be great, Soul Calibur 2, which they have re-released Soul Calibur 2, but I want the Soul Calibur 2, the GameCube edition, with Link in it.
Yeah.
They never re-released that one. They actually re-released Soul Calibur 2, just the regular vanilla one, without any of the extra characters. And apparently nobody bought it, because they wanted the Link one.
I want Spawn.
They want the one with Link in there, you know, so nobody got it. But that would have been a cool one. Of course, for Indie Directs, I put Goodbye Volcano High on there. That's the game about the non-binary pterodactyl who's in high school, which I really want to play that game. It's a game that speaks to me.
Never heard of it.
And my wife. I've heard it talked about on Video Game Apocalypse. I thought it sounded great. It's like a visual novel thing, but I would do it just to see how non-binary pterodactyls hang out. But also Ease 10 Nordics. I thought that was an easy one. I think that was on yours too, John, right? On the bingo.
I put it on there too.
Yeah, no Ease. But I mean some Falcom stuff, but no Ease. Tekken Collection, because why not? You know, let's re-release some Tekken games. How about Tekken 1 through 3? Re-release those. I know you can get Tekken 2 on PlayStation 4 and 5, but why not 3? Like, I don't know. Some of the games that are on there are so random. I agree. Another like lost Midway NetherRealm Studios collection that should be released. How about Injustice? How about Injustice 1 and 2? Like, you know, Injustice 1 was on Wii. Or no, it was on Wii U. Injustice 1 was on Wii U. And Injustice 2 was on PlayStation 4. But I mean, I don't know. Put one of those games on Switch.
But who knows what Warner Brothers is doing nowadays?
Yeah, right.
So I would think that's the reason.
Well, I mean, Mortal Kombat's still ticking. Like they got big DLC coming out for Mortal Kombat 1. I don't know if we ever talked about that, but Chaos Reigns just got announced, and like they're bringing Cyrax and Sector and like all those robot people in there. So I mean, they're still doing their thing, and they're under WB like NetherRealm is. So you know they're still kicking, but. As far as like, they don't really look to the past, I guess. They don't look to re-releasing stuff, but it would be cool to see some of those games come back. This other one I put in here just because this was an indie game that was announced a long time ago, and then it disappeared, and we all thought it looked really cool, and that game is Quantum League. It was an online first-person shooter thing, or third-person shooter where you jump through the portals. Like, I don't know if you remember seeing it. Like, we all were like really excited about it. And I wanted to look it up and figure out what it was. It was called Quantum League. Like it disappeared. It had to have happened in like 2019 or 2020. It's like been like 4 or 5 years, I think, since we've seen anything about it. But yeah, I was hoping to see that one. Killer Instinct Gold.
It'll be the new whatever that game was where your head got big, where like it disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh, the game was awesome."
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, it was something. It was something like it was like a term that they use. What was it? It's like a literary term that you would say for Pascal's wager.
It's funny
No, not
'cause
that. Something like that. You know.
But it was funny because it was like, oh no, it's Chekhov's gun. No, I remember it was like,
yeah, but it's like that, but it's not that.
It was hyped up so much, and then it's
and then that was like the white whale for Switch owners for a long time. Like, where did that game go? And just like, man, it really like.
And then it showed up, and it sucked. I mean, I bought it, but it wasn't great. And I'll look it up later. Well, yeah, I have it. I have it, but it ended up being not very good. Killer Instinct Gold on Nintendo Switch Online. I mean, last time we had a partner direct, Rare was on there, and we got like Blast Core and all that stuff. So I thought we could see Killer Instinct. You know, like I said, I'm in a fighting. I got a fighting theme here. Dead or Alive collection. How about those games? Bring those back. Not the beach volleyball one, just the regular fighter ones. What?
Yeah, bring beach volleyballs too.
What did you say, John?
I was going to say that when I saw that you put Killer Instinct on there, and I thought, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they've been putting out the Rare games at a pretty steady clip, and it's about time for something like that for Killer Instinct.
Yeah, I threw a Rare game on my list as well.
Well, we have one. We have Killer Instinct 1 on Super Nintendo, but we don't have Killer Instinct 2 on 64 available for Nintendo Switch Online. So I thought it was weird that they did one and not the other, especially because at the time they showed the intro for KI Gold, but then they went to the Super Nintendo one, which I'm planning on playing through that with my Leverless controller. It's going to be funny. I'm probably going to stream it.
Neat.
But yeah, Killer Instinct Gold, Dead or Alive collection, Eternal Champions for Nintendo Switch Online, coming off of the news last week of the Eternal Champions movie. I was like, hey, why is this not on the Sega app? Put it on there so we can play it again.
Put it on there, yeah. Educate some folks on what Eternal Champions is.
Yeah.
If you want that movie to be a hit.
Exactly. I was like, that seemed like that could happen. You know, that's a maybe one. The next couple ones are me just being silly. The Final Fantasy Dissidia collection, which was the Final Fantasy fighting game for PlayStation Portable, which actually have both of them, but they're pretty awesome. Actually, there's a third one that I played in Japan that was arcade. It was like arcade only, which I didn't really understand. Actually, I think it might have came out for PS4 or 5.
I remembered the name of the game. It's Morphe's Law.
There it is. Yeah, Morphe's Law. Yeah, like Murphy's Law, but Morphe's Law. See, I was right. It was like it was a term or something.
Oh, Morphe's Law.
Morphe's Law. Yeah, because you're morphing. Yeah, Final Fantasy.
It's Morbin time.
The Final Fantasy Dissidia collection would be funny, especially if they just released Duodecim, which was on PSP, that has both of the games on it, so you could play that.
Oh, Duodenum. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I bought a PlayStation Portable, was to play Final Fantasy Dissidia, and I regret nothing. It's a great game. But my next one is, of course, this one was trying to be extra funny. Star Wars Masters of Terraskasi, which was Star Wars Tekken game. if anybody remembers, in PlayStation 1 times, they tried to make a Tekken game.
It was a crossover.
No, it's just a fighting game.
It was like a
fighting game.
It's just a Star Wars fighting game that's trying to look like Tekken. Like, it very much is that like 3D style of like Tekken Virtual Fighter, like that sort of thing. And I remember
Darth Vader throw Luke off a cliff.
I mean, you can throw your lightsaber at him. I remember that. But you have like the main, like some of the main characters, but then there's these really dumb characters where it's like Jeff, the Sand Person, or whatever. There's like all these other random fighters in there that are kind of like, okay, why is this guy in here? Like, we don't know who this guy is.
They should put that out, and they should put out like a Star Wars Curiosities collection, because there's a bunch of games and stuff in Star Wars that,
like Star Wars
especially
Demolition.
the PS1,
or like the old Atari games and that kind of thing. I think
don't make anybody play those games.
Valuable.
They should re-release the Star Wars game, the Japanese one where Darth Vader turns into a scorpion. They should do that, so people can be like, what the fuck? Yeah, the Japanese version of Star Wars on NES, whenever you play Darth Vader, he turns into a giant scorpion, or when you fight him, like in the end.
Oh yeah, that's the way the movie was over there.
Yeah, so they thought it'd be. They must have saw the Indian version of it, which is pretty good. which is pretty good, actually. I've seen it.
I think. Oh, is there really an Indian version? I haven't seen it.
Yeah. No, it's cool, actually. They basically took all the action scenes from Star Wars and edited and like shot their own stuff and kind of created their own story around it. It's pretty cool, actually. Or no, I think it's Indonesian. Nice. But yeah, Indonesian Star Wars. If you can find it anywhere, it's worth watching. It's pretty rad. But yeah, no, they've been re-releasing so many Star Wars games. We just saw like Star Wars Bounty Hunter, and originally I was going to say like just another Star Wars re-release, but I thought I'd be silly and put Masters of Terras Kasi on there, which is considered a pretty bad Star Wars game, but it's a fighting game, so let's stick to it. Weird one, it didn't happen. Call of Duty. You guys heard about the big Call of Duty rumors, right? They were saying there was going to be a Call of Duty announcement during the Direct. Didn't happen.
Call of Duty.
Because ever since like the Xbox acquisition, they said they were going to put Call of Duty on Nintendo. So we thought we'd see like maybe maybe Modern Warfare 1 or something, or like put some old ones on there. Who knows? The Fighters Destiny collection. Those were N64 games that I loved a lot. Our N64 X-Pack episode will be up soon, so get yourself on Patreon so you can listen to that.
Wasn't there 2 of those Fighters Destiny?
Yeah, that's why I said Fighters Destiny collection. 2 of them. Put them together.
Yeah, I was trying to remember how many there were.
Yeah, there were 2. I never played 2, but I have 1, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was basically trying to be like Tekken, but it's different. Like it's more point based. Like you get points depending on like whether you kick the guy out of the ring or like for it's kind of more like real wrestling, where you like having their shoulders down is like a point or whatever, like that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a cool idea, and there's some really interesting characters in there and stuff. Tatsunoko versus Capcom, which I think we're going to get that one eventually. That's the one where it was Capcom versus the anime company. Tatsunoko, it's kind of like they've been around for a long time. They did the original Power Rangers stuff, or even even before Voltron. Like Gotcha Man was before all that shit. But yeah, that was a really cool game.
I feel like Capcom's going to get every fighting game into the modern era. In fact, about a month ago or so, they said as much.
I think they said it. Yeah, I think it was like a week or 2
ago.
Fighting
games, yeah. And so I think that was a little preview to what's been happening with their most recent announcements. It does seem like they're actually doing it, like bringing all their old fighting games to modern systems, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's why I put it on. That's why I put a lot of the stuff on there, because I'd heard they'd say like, oh yeah, no, we should re-release all of our old stuff, and I was like, yeah, do it, and roll back netcode and make it online, and it can be then it could be like an Evo thing or whatever. And my last
just as a side note, that it does seem like Capcom is really taking their legacy catalog seriously. I mean, they put out the 2 arcade bundles. They get the Mega Man bundle and all these different Street Fighter and fighting game bundles and the Brawler bundle. And like, I think they might be just off the top of my mind, I think they might be the best as far as a major third-party publisher putting out their old games.
For sure. And definitely about what we're going to talk about with the Direct, like that kind of blew a lot of people's mind, like mine included. So, and my final thing on my bingo that didn't happen, this one was a total joke, was that they'd announce AEW Fight Forever 2, or AEW Fight Forever Again, or AEW Fight Forever for More, or whatever they want to call it.
Fight Forevermore.
Yeah, Forevermore. There you go. That's a better one. Yeah, AEW Fight Forevermore. And there's my ones that didn't happen. Like I said, I was trying to be silly about it, but I was just running with the fighting game stuff. But like we saw from the Capcom shit, and a little bit of SNK in there too, we might have saw some of those that I had on there. So some of it was educated, some was just being silly. But if Star Wars Masters of Terras Kasi like actually showed up, I'd be like, what? The Han Solo movie that like kind of sucked, whatever it was, Solo. Is that what it was
Solo.
Called? Yeah, they actually referenced Terras Kasi in the movie. That was my favorite part of the whole movie. That they actually mentioned the karate form from the Masters of Terras Kasi movie. I was like, oh, that's funny.
Well, I heard Ron Howard was a big fan of that game.
Yeah, that was like the one part I liked about that movie. But I think there was one part that reminded me of Skies of Arcadia, so I thought that was kind of fun when they were in when they did the whatever the fuck the thing that they did in 12 parsecs, like that area, except it was really slow. It wasn't fast like it was supposed to be. The Kessel Run, when they were in the Kessel Run, that looks like an area of Skies of Arcadia, so it reminded me of a better thing and made it less torturous to watch the movie. But what did you guys have on your bingo cards?
Go ahead,
I'll go through mine quick because I didn't get very much right. I only got 2 things.
Yeah, I was trying to run through mine quick
but
too.
Most of my stuff was I was trying to be somewhat realistic. I threw a few long shots in there, but I said Little Nightmares 3 because I know that's Hollow Knight Silk Song because everyone says that.
Oh, I said, yeah, I did the opposite, and I'm going to do that forever until it gets announced,
smart.
Which will probably never happen.
That's really smart.
I'm going to forever say no Silk Song because it's not going to be in any of these directs ever. So
Following in the same spirit of Trey, because of rare stuff, I threw Banjo Tooie on there, thinking maybe Banjo Tooie would show up.
sure, possibility.
Then I said Netflix app because I'm going to do that for all time.
That's never going to happen. But yeah, it's the same as like no Silk Song, I guess, right? Or you should say no Netflix app, and then you'll always get it.
There you go.
Yeah,
I said a new Jackbox game because that's just pretty. I don't know. I thought it was a decent.
Maybe the adult pack might have been in there. That was a realistic guess.
They do happen, but I don't remember any of them being announced during a direct. Like
there wasn't anything announced
Yeah.
this time. Xeno Chronicles export.
Yeah, I had a dream about that actually. After I watched the direct and went back to sleep, I had a dream that Xenoblade Chronicles X was actually.
I was
in
like,
the
that's
direct.
technically a partner. I mean, they're second party, I guess.
Yeah, they're working on something. They're obviously working on something for Switch too because they've been hiring more people.
I was hoping there'd be Nintendo Tracks and Trombone Champ, but they didn't announce that. I said Haunted Chocolatier trailer. Found out just recently. I was looking online and Concerned Ape, whatever his name is. Yeah, he said, I haven't even been able to touch Haunted Chocolatier in almost a year because of all the Stardew Valley stuff. So
yeah, because he just had that big update, but that's still not on Switch, right? So that could have been on there,
right? Well, I just there wouldn't have been a trailer, but I didn't know that until today.
Yeah.
Whatever, I said it. Just Dance, because whatever. There's always new Just Dance crap.
Just Dance was on there though.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just Dance
okay.
was
Well,
on
then
there.
I got 3. I got 3.
Yeah, I think I said you got 3.
And then Fortnite, because I don't know, there's always some new shit happening with Fortnite. I said this
Ultimate
game,
Doom.
Mousecraft. Yeah, I said Mousecraft. It's this game that I had heard about. That was that. What's the fucking? It's not CDC.
PAX?
No, the one in Japan.
Oh, Bit Summit?
Bit Summit, yes.
Yeah.
So that was like a one that I saw a few lists where people had mentioned that one. So I thought, well, maybe they'll announce it for Switch. They didn't. But it actually said it was coming to Switch also, like there. So I was like, maybe it'll be part of this. I said downloadable content for the Nintendo World Championship NES Edition game.
Yeah.
Just
all kind of hoping for that one.
Wishful thinking, yeah.
That would have been
Nice.
nice. Yeah, being like from a partner or whatever, having a Capcom slew of games or Konami.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grand Theft Auto 5 Switch, because it's going to happen eventually.
I'm surprised it didn't happen. It's a PS3 game. It could run fine on the system.
Yeah. I said Beautiful Joe just because it's partner direct and maybe they were going to bring back Beautiful Joe. We haven't seen Beautiful
Good
Joe
one.
in so long.
I was I mean it's for my later stuff, but I got Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I actually bought it for PS3. I bought a PS3 game. Physical. I bought it for $15. But Beautiful Joe's in there. He's a playable character. It's nice to see him again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
I said Panzer Dragoon 2 because I wish they would have continued making Panzer Dragoon games, but I think the first one just didn't get received very well.
Oh, the remake.
Yeah, always
yeah.
like $6. Yeah.
It's on sale a lot. I mean, it's it's short and maybe it was a little bit high
I wish they would have
priced
kept
at the
doing
time
that with the
when they
Panzer
released it.
Dragoon games just because I've always wanted to play them and they're pretty much locked to Saturn still. I said a Sonic 3 movie game just because they haven't done a Sonic the movie game yet, at least not on consoles as far as I know. So
They're going to Street Fighter, so
maybe. Well, I would just
Street
like,
Fighter
well,
movie?
yeah, why not just have like
Street
its
Fighter
own-
the movie, the game. I really hope they don't. I hope they don't do that. Let Sonic just be Sonic. I mean, I like Sonic 2 the movie, but we don't need a game of that. Like, just let Sonic.
Give us
still.
Well, I'm
Ugly
saying Sonic
Sonic
3
game,
the
damn
movie.
I haven't seen
Sonic
Sonic 3. Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Well, Sonic 3 is just being so promoted, like being promoted so aggressively now. I was hoping maybe there'd be a game too.
Yeah, I mean Shadows, and we got the Sonic Generations Shadow.
that's
Yeah.
true, which was surprisingly not in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they already talked about it, and it's coming out next month too, or not next month, 2 months, October.
I was hoping for a Prime 4 trailer. Of course not, or whatever they're calling
Well,
it
that's
now.
yeah, that's a little.
You're asking too much.
Yeah, that was
I know,
too much
that's-
for the partner thing.
That was too much. And then, well, I got the next one. That's the one I'm most proud of, the next one I got. And then Farewell North, that's another game that I had seen in some people's lists from the Japanese show that looked really interesting, and I hope they'd talk about it.
I don't know what that is.
I went for a long shot. I kind of remember off the top of my head. I was reading about it the other day, though, and it seemed cool. Untitled Goose Game 2. I'm like, come on, just make it. Maybe a trailer for Gimmick 2. But that's still like in a
That's coming
Kickstarter. Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
soon.
Well, Gimmick 2 is
And
coming
then,
out like next week.
Yeah, it's
And
coming
then-
out in like 2 weeks.
So I thought
next
for
week.
sure that they would show it off.
It's coming out next
Uh,
week on the 5th.
I got the next thing, and then Hi-Fi Rush, just because we know that studio got snatched up or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe they're going to aggressively like push that game to all platforms, but not yet. At least we don't know yet. And then the last one was another game I saw that looked really cool called Smooshy Come Home. It's like a cozy game where you're a mushroom.
Oh yeah,
I was like, well, that sounds like something that they would push on the Switch because cozy is like the word of the year for Nintendo Directs.
yeah,
And,
mushrooms do big on Nintendo.
mushrooms and cozy. Like,
Mushrooms make you big on
combine the
Nintendo.
two.
Yeah, and well, cozy games, you see a lot of those on the indies. Yeah, on the Indie World showcases. For
I mean,
sure,
that's just
so.
that's probably like the hit word of the year as far as describing games. They're all cozy.
Sure.
That the thing though on my list.
So I kind of sort of got this one. I give myself half credits for always putting Shenmue, and we kind of got it with a certain game that came at the end of the
Sort of.
direct.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah, well, I've heard people refer to that game as Shenmue, but not boring. For the people who don't like Shenmue, I guess. But I saw that as like, Shenmue, but fun to play.
I take personal offense at that statement.
Well, I didn't say it. I'm just saying I've heard people say it on podcasts.
My next one was, oh yeah, we all forgot about that game. And I don't think we really got that. I think these were all games that were unexpected or not ever mentioned before.
I thought you were talking about that other game made by what was it? There was something that was made by a specific company. Wasn't it? It was the people who did like Katamari, the ones who did like, oh yeah, you want that? You like those games? You want that game? I thought you meant that game.
No, I didn't even think about that. But I just meant like a game that was like, oh, we haven't seen that in so long, and there it is.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that
Like Quantum League.
Yeah. Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. I'm surprised we didn't see anything about that.
Actually, that one was on the Japanese. That was it was on the Japanese Direct.
Oh, I get another X. Nice.
Yeah, I watched both. Well, I watched the Japanese one last night while I was editing. I put it on the background. But yeah, the Phoenix, right? There's that one's in the Japanese one in the partner direct.
Sweet, one more for me.
And the Japanese one's actually longer. It's like 6 extra minutes versus the American one.
I did not watch that one, but I'm interested to hear what was the differences. Ezex Nordics, we mentioned that already. Hollow Knight, yeah, race. Just thought one to put there that was maybe likely. Sonic X Shadow Generations. Again, I'm really surprised that was not mentioned, being that we just got the trailer for the movie today, and they have been pushing this game, and I'm actually really excited for this game now. The Gecko Gods, another one that was like maybe 2 or 3 directs back that we haven't heard from. And maybe I'll just drop this one from my list because maybe this one is in the holding area for the time being. I don't know. Earth Defense Force World Brothers 2.
Oh yeah,
coming out next month.
Cool. I've never seen those before. That game before. Never played that game before, but I've heard a lot about it. That it's pretty good series. Coming out very soon. It's on the once again. I scrolled through the coming up soon games.
Sure.
Gundam Breaker 4. Beyond Galaxy Land. Gundam Breaker 4 is not this week. That's right.
Gundam 4 is, yeah.
I could get into a mech game. I haven't played one of those in a while, so I'll keep my eye on that. Beyond Galaxy Land, which looks pretty cool. It looks kind of like Star. What was the quote from some reviewer in the trailer? It was like Star Wars meets something.
Final Fantasy.
I thought Final Fantasy. That's right.
Yeah.
I thought Trey would be really interested in this game.
I made a list for I made like a list of everything that's coming out in September. I thought it might be a good topic for next week. And Beyond Galaxy Land is on there. I kind of just went down the list because there's a ton of shit coming out in September. I thought about it because you were talking about your September budget, which I should do that too. But yeah, I was like, I was like, how much stuff is coming out? And yeah, Beyond Galaxy Land was on there. Earth Defense Force 2. I don't think I put that one on my list, but I'll add it to it.
I think there's going to be a couple of things next month that's like, look, I should get that game, but I'm just not going to be able to. I think I got to prioritize.
Well, we got the wedding too.
Right, exactly. And a Nintendo IP game being made by another studio. I was thinking along the lines of Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Sure, yeah.
They did the Hyrule game.
Or yeah, like the Hyrule Warriors games or something.
Next time you should
happen.
say, I don't know, like well-known IP done by an independent studio, because we definitely had that in the Indie World Showcase. So it's one that you thought was not an indie game, but we'll talk about.
Oh, there's that. Yep. Mega Man. I thought it was about time for Mega Man, like a proper Mega Man game.
Yeah.
Something.
11 was the last one, right?
Yeah. How long ago was that?
That was a long time ago.
Long time ago. I would like to see another go at like a proper 3D Mega Man game, which I don't think, to my memory, has ever been really done right, or at least not since like the Trombone game or whatever on PlayStation.
Mega Man Legends.
There's Mega Man Legends 1 and 2. What's Trombone game? Oh, are you talking about Tronbon?
Tronbon, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have that Tronbon game. No, Mega Man Legends 1 and 2 we're okay from what I played.
There's an isometric at Mega Man game.
I played it on 64. And yeah, one of the later Mega Man X's was kind of 3D. It's kind of shitty, but it's in the collection. It was like it was a PlayStation game. But they should do a Mega Man Legends 3. I know Nadia from X the Bloodcat like always talks about that. About the story was never ended. They should do more.
That'd be cool. I think it's time for like a really kick-ass 3D Mega Man. That I'm surprised that there's not really one that is jumping to the forefront at this point.
Well, I mean, the guy who like created Mega Man like left Capcom, so like they kind of like did away with the series after that. Like he's not there anymore, so they've kind of lost interest in any Mega Man stuff aside from just releasing old stuff. But they pretty much released most things. I guess they could re-release Mega Man Legend 1 and 2.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I thought maybe we'd see Broken Sword in there, which beloved adventure game. I've mentioned it before on the show, and it's coming. I think on the 6th, like in a week or so. Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars Reforged. That would have been a nice, representing the adventure game genre in there. Would have been cool. Fallout, no Fallout still. Maybe I'll scratch this one off the list. I guess we're probably not getting Fallout on the Switch ever.
I'm surprised. Maybe Switch 2.
Yeah, with the show and everything. Yeah. Switch 2, maybe, yeah.
Well, that's like an Xbox property now too, right? So they're fine with putting their shit on everything.
They're fine with it, yeah. I mean, I think certainly... maybe it'll come in the next year because the show is such a big hit. Maybe they'll make an effort to put it on Nintendo. Shantae Advance Risky Revolution, that's coming out in September, I think. Yeah, very soon. NBA Jam, just because it's time. Bring back NBA Jam. We haven't had one since that Wii one, right? That was the last one.
The On Fire edition. Well, there's the new. Apparently, there's the new arcade that's out there because I just heard somebody talking about that. I don't remember where
the
Raw
it was. Thrills one, which is not an NBA Jam.
But it's an NBA Jam game but not called NBA Jam. Right. Like it's very similar. Like it has Tim Kitzrow on there.
5 players too.
Yeah, and it has Tim Kitzrow. It's done by like some of the original developers and all that. But NBA Jam was a Midway game, right? And Midway's done. Maybe that's why we didn't get any re-releases of Mortal Kombat because Midway's defunct. They went under in the recession, not the reception, during the recession, like back in W days.
Yeah, EA put out the one on the Wii and I think it was Xbox 360, PS3. So maybe they still have the license, and they're not on Switch for some reason. I want to see this Captain N homage game, which I've put on the last couple of bingo cards. It's a random idea, but somebody do if you could get a proper Captain N game on there, more power to you. But to do like an obvious homage to Captain N and the N team, I think is like a perfect idea for a video game, appealing to old people like ourselves.
I was listening to a podcast. I think it was the Five Nights at Freddy's podcast, but Retronauts recently did, and they did confirm that's the same voices of Audrey 2 that did Mother Brain, and that's one of the people from the Four Tops.
Oh, he was from the Four Tops?
Yeah,
I never knew that.
So that Mother Brain's voice was like a famous musician.
Oh wait, really?
Wow, I never knew that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because Little Shop of Horrors, you had to sing in that, right?
Yep, same voice, same person.
Yeah. Weird. Hope you made some money off that.
How about a sequel to the absolute odd duck of the Street Fighter series, Street Fighter 2010? I want to see Street Fighter 2054, the Finaler Fight.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
2054 specifically.
Funny. Yeah. They make a sequel to that game. Yeah.
I used my logic in 2054 was the original game came out in 1990 and it was set
2010, right?
I did my math wrong. Yeah. I should have done 2044. 20 years. Anyway, yeah. New Street Fighter 2010 game, please. And how about, like Trey said, Eternal Champions?
Yeah.
Put Eternal Champions on Switch. The old one, make a new one even better. Yeah, get some people psyched for this new movie.
I'd like to play the
probably
original.
Won't come out.
I'd like to play the original one with my leverless controller on NSO. That'd be fun.
It's a solid game.
Yeah.
I've in reading about the movie that's they're doing. Some of the articles have been a little bit like, what, this game? Or like sarcastic or snide about it. Like, why this fucking game from 30 years ago? Nobody remembers. Like, did you ever play it? It's a good game. Quit shitting on it. It's a good game. Try it.
Yeah, I did hear a lot of people talking down on Eternal Champions, but they don't know anything.
They don't know anything.
They're eternal losers.
Exactly.
That's right.
They're eternal dummies. But yeah, that's been our Dim Bingo stuff. But yeah, the direct happened. I didn't plan it, but I got up at 8. I woke up at 8:30, and I looked at the time and I got up and peed, and then I laid back down, and then I got up again at like 8:50, and I was like, well, it's almost 9 now. I got to watch it, so I watched it live. I don't like getting up early, so I don't normally wake up early for these, but I just happened to, it just without an alarm, whatever. I happened to be up at 8:50, and I'm glad that I was, because I got some time to play some of the stuff that was out, like on the day. I just played it in bed on my Switch handheld, but yeah, and it happened at 9 a.m. It got announced a couple days ago or whatever. But I thought it was a solid direct, like pretty much all the way through.
It was pretty good.
I came into it not really expecting anything, so
right.
It was
especially for a surprise direct. Like they announced it the day before. I don't think a whole lot of people were buzzing about it. I heard some people saying like, "Oh, there might be another one next week."
Yeah, but people always say that.
People always say that.
Yeah.
I felt like the buzz level was pretty low, and then they successfully just kind of gave it to us out of nowhere, and I think they knocked it out of the park. I think this was a really good one.
Yeah, it was solid. I thought that Jeremy would appreciate the first game on here, Balatro DLC, free DLC.
Friends of Jimbo.
Yeah,
I know. I got really excited about this, and it turns out it's
not really
that
anything.
great.
Oh, well, for me, it kind of felt like it was the welcome to the successful indie club or whatever is like what I kind of got from it.
And I think I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's literally aesthetic. It's not you can alter the back of your cards to look like, or not the back. You're like you can change up your face cards to be themed, but it's like it's based on the suit. So like I think it's Witcher will be your spades, and then something else is clubs, and like Among Us is something else, and David Diver or something.
I thought they were all separate. I thought they were all separate decks. They're not. They're all just within one deck.
Mixed in.
They're all within one.
Weird
suit. Yeah. So you can change your so you could have like, I don't know. I mean, it's cool. It's those characters, but it's literally aesthetic. It's nothing else.
Oh, that's
I was hoping for like some changed up rules, or maybe like a special deck that had something to do with the game.
Some twist representing the gameplay of each different.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and they all. I mean, yeah. All the decks have different properties or whatever to them. So like, it should do something because the idea of Balatro
it's not like a new
unlocking
deck.
All the decks. Yeah. So that kind of sucks.
Which I did unlock a deck this week, but I'll get to that later. But no, I loaded it up on the Switch right away, and was pretty disappointed. Then I was like, well, let me load it up let me see if it's on the PS5 as well. And it had gone live on the PS5 as well, which the same exact stuff. So it's like Witcher 3, Dave the Diver, Among Us, and then what was the other one? I can't remember off the top of my head.
They're all on here, I think. Vampire Survivors.
That's right.
Yep.
I do remember thinking in my head though, like combining Vampire Survivors and Balatro would literally, I'd probably just die.
Doesn't it do like the
I can't
thing
play
like
those games at the same time?
Because it showed it in the video where it like explodes like when you get the treasure chest and Vampire Survivors. It didn't incorporate that at all into the game.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, because I saw that and I was like, oh, that's cool. I really like Vampire Survivors. So
I switched out all my cards to the special cards, and I have not noticed anything different in my gameplay.
It's too bad. Interesting thing on the Balatro for the Japanese Direct is there was actually just a straight up Balatro trailer, because I don't think a Balatro has come to Japan yet. So I mean, he was just like, here's Balatro, and Balatro's coming to the Japanese eShop. So I saw that. And it was at Animal Well also was on there. I don't think that's out in Japan either. So, I mean, there was a couple that I saw in the Japanese one. But yeah, that's Balatro. Next one, Neva, the sequel to Grease, however you say it.
I don't think it's a sequel.
Well, it's from the
Same
devs.
developers.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I have that game Gris, and it's cool. I barely scratched the surface, but it is one of the games that you just look at and go, "Wow, that's cool." Every frame looks like a well drawn drawing, but like nice painting on your TV.
Cinematic
a lot of detail
platformer.
to it, a lot of emotion. Cinematic platform, yep. And
That's
that's
one of your favorite things.
my favorite genres.
Yeah.
Yep. So that has my attention, and it also makes me want to play through Gris, because that was one of the games that I got when I got like a bunch of games for $200 and shuffled off to the wayside.
It's on sale a lot. Like you can get it for a couple bucks.
It's
like
super
whenever it's
cheap,
on
like
sale.
I have
$2
it.
sometimes.
But I don't recall playing it very much.
It might be one of the things that I have it and I forgot that I have it, just because
Same.
it's on sale so much. I might have got it, but maybe
Yeah,
I
don't
didn't.
be like, oh, it's cheap, it must be a bad game. It's like it's like $2 and it's like a fantastic game. So get it whether it's $2 or it's not on sale.
So this one's spring of 2025. Like I said, like a lot of this, it's pretty far down the way of next year, spring of 2025.
For Moth Cubit, but Neva is coming out.
October.
Oh, I
15th, yep.
I skipped one. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, Neva, October. Yeah, October 15th. That's October is also a pretty big month for games as well. So it's not on my list, but someday when it's on sale, maybe. But Moth Cubit, I was just looking at that one again because I kind of completely forgot it was in the Direct. But yeah, your little moth like in an office running around. They claim that it's an RPG, but I don't know. I have arguments on that. It doesn't look very RPG to me. I didn't see any turn-based battles in there. Or
I mean,
leveling up or
after a
anything.
moth levels up from a caterpillar to a moth, is there anywhere else to go?
Sure. I don't know if that's in the game or not though. I don't know if that one game can be an RPG, this can be an RPG too, right? Whatever it's called.
Sure.
What's the Toby Fox game? I can't remember.
Undertale.
Yeah, if Undertale's an RPG, this is an RPG.
Next up is anybody play the Coffee Talk games?
Nope.
No. I thought that it was kind of it would, they want to keep it the same, but isn't it a missed opportunity to not call it Coffee Tokyo since it's Coffee Talk Tokyo? It's right there. It's right there,
Maybe
guys.
they were worried about
Put it together.
offending their source material.
I figured maybe they don't want to like change the brand, They want us to still say Coffee Talk. But yeah, there's a bunch of these. They're all like visual novel stuff. I haven't played any of them, but I guess people like them because they keep making them, So there's that.
I can give it a try sometime for the right price.
And that's a next year. Moth Cubit is next year, and this one's next year also. TBD, my favorite band. TBD. You see them all over the place. This one was one that John actually predicted. Was this announced or was it not? Like, where did you?
It was announced. Yeah, they hadn't actually said anything beyond, hey, we're making DLC, so they didn't give any hint or anything like that. But Sea of Stars, Throes of the Watchmaker DLC. I knew that they were working on it because I followed them on Facebook and they had mentioned it some time ago. And I thought, it's been 6 months, 7 months since that game came out, maybe even a little bit longer. I thought it's time.
Sea of Stars?
Sea of Stars, yeah.
That was a long time ago.
That was last year.
Was it last
Because
year?
it was on my
Oh,
Game
yeah.
of the Year list last year, yeah.
I think it was over a year
Right.
ago since it came out. And since I'm on their Kickstarter, since I Kickstarted it, I did get an email about DLC, but I just kind of forgot about it. Kind of like I did about that game. But I should go back and play
NintenDomain
it.
is in that game,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in it.
Because I Kickstarted it. I wonder if it's like The Messenger where you have to beat the game to play the DLC because, two of us on this podcast have not beat it. So we would have to.
Well, the Messenger
Do some
DLC
shit.
was paid, right?
It was paid.
And
Yeah,
this,
it was
I'm
$8
pretty
or
sure this was.
looks free.
It is free. It is free.
Yeah. Well, I mean, But it's kind of mean to have it paid and also make you beat the game again. Like, you paid for it, you should be able to just play it, right? I don't know.
I don't think so.
You think it's a separate story? Like, you don't have to.
I don't know. Like
the game?
one of the things that I think it's going to probably make it on people's list, a lot of people's game of the year list, is the Shadow of the Erd Tree, and it's absolutely you got to do so much in Elden Ring to be able to access that. It expects a lot of you, and you have to pay for it as well.
And I'm cool with that. Like, whatever their direction takes them in creatively, I can see how you might come up with a great idea, where it's like, well, but this person has to get to this point in the game, before, makes sense, or before they've learned this skill and all that. So I'm not against paying for DLC that you have to get to a certain point. Or
the fact that it exists within, it's like supposed to be like within a different world, right?
Yeah, it said like the characters are playing, aren't they playing like carnival characters or something like that? Like the main.
And there's a new playable character.
So I think it's kind of like a side story.
I kind of wonder if it isn't like, you access it from somewhere early in the game and it's like just a separate thing on its own. It doesn't seem, based on what I played of the game, that I beat it like that. This would be something that would be after the end of the game necessarily.
There is a Robo-looking character on there though. Like that, I know the original one had its Chrono Trigger inspiration, and this one robot character totally looks like Robo from this one. So,
yeah,
that's coming spring 2025.
Yeah, that was 2025 too, right? Yeah, I guess so. So,
yeah, we should count up all the 2025s when we're done with this, because I'd be interested to know. I think it's like
we have 3,
30 or 40%.
We have 3.
I mean, we're pretty damn late in the year at this point. It's almost September, so
yeah, we have 3.
Any more here in 2025 isn't really that much of a stretch anymore.
But they said 2024. They said it in the direct. Even they said this is all for 2024 games. They lied.
Oh, right.
They lied right out to us right there. Yeah. So far we have 3.
Don't worry. You can play Power Wash Simulator Shrek Special Pack DLC this fall. Don't worry, it's okay.
Yeah, that was like, I don't. I mean, it's on the Switch, I guess, but I thought it looked like shit. I thought it looked really bad.
I thought it looked kind of bad too.
It looked like
Well, that's because you have to clean all the shit off, and that looks great.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, you make the game look better.
It looked like you were cleaning like really bad JPEGs or something. Like it looked like, I don't know, like really jaggy and like the way is that the way the game is? I don't know. I've never played the game. You played it on PS5. So
I've only played it on PS5, so it looks like
Does your character move as stupidly on that one? Like because the character is moving around and it's like it's not like non-animated at all? Is that like part of the
absolutely
or whatever? Okay.
It's like watching somebody else when you're on a first-person shooter, like how a player character moves.
It looked like you're cleaning the backgrounds from like Resident Evil, like the original Resident Evil on PlayStation 1. Like the static backgrounds. That's what it looks like you're doing. Like none of it's actually 3D. Like you're just cleaning this flat picture that kind of looks
like
shit.
Trying to clean the mud off, but the mud is actually the graphics.
Exactly, yeah. You're cleaning the exact picture of a PlayStation 1 picture in HD. So no matter what, it's always going to look bad. So yeah, that's what I got from it. I don't know.
Well, no, like Shrek came out in like the 90s.
Yeah, but they're doing a new one.
So
they got a new one coming out, so maybe they're just trying to support that. But I mean, I don't know. I saw Shrek 1, and that was enough for me. I never saw.
Power Wash Simulator is like the fact that it's popular. They can do anything with that.
Sure,
that's it. Literally anything could be cross. Like I played. I was the Mars. I cleaned the Mars rover. That they did a crossover with NASA.
You can clean like Cloud's bike from Final Fantasy VII and stuff like that. There's like it's the Funko Pops of games. You can put anything in there.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So
the Funko Pop of games is also in here later on. So.
Oh yeah. I'm actually kind of into that game, just because they're just putting so many people in there. I want to see how they tie it together. I don't know. I mean, I don't like Funko Pops, but I'm kind of curious just because there's so many fucking franchises in this game that I'm like, well, it might
it's like be a worse Lego game.
Yeah,
you go play Lego Dimensions. It's out already.
Yeah, but I don't like that game. I mean, I heard it was terrible. I don't know.
So this is going to be even worse.
That doesn't have Chucky in it, though. That doesn't have Chucky in it from Child's Play. You can't play as the shark from Jaws. Come on. I want to play as the fucking shark. Like I'm just saying. Anyway, yeah. I guess the good thing about this is if you want the Power Wash Simulator, it's like $15 right now. It's on sale, so you can buy it cheaply.
You could also go outside and clean your house
Next
in
up
real
is
life.
Morsels. Morsels is a roguelike twin stick shooter, and it looks kind of strange.
It's very poopy.
But
I like Morsels, actually. I really liked it. On the other side of things, I actually really like the way Morsel looks compared to the way Power Wash Simulator looks. I like the art style. I like the weirdness of it. I like how
like the
everything's
cat
kind of
buzz
a little fuzzy, I guess, but not in a bad way. And it's an Annapurna produced game, and I don't know. I actually thought it looked really cool
I gotta go check
for
it
what
out.
it was.
I think it's interesting.
A bit like a Binding of Isaac sort of look.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I guess it looks, kind of like sort of a twin stick shooter, roguelike type thing, but I don't know. I'm interested in it. I like the weirdness of it. I like the way the characters look and the animations and all that.
Comes out in February.
2025, another one. Set number 4.
Let's
Yeah,
lean
number
further
4.
into the weird. Let's talk about a game that lets you date your toaster, all the other household appliances.
Can I date my couch?
You can date your couch, JD Vance. Yep,
Ah,
it's his game of the year.
Did you delete the comment that I put on there about that?
I didn't mean to. I just clicked it and then it went away.
I wasn't gonna take your joke from you. I saw that you put that on Twitter. That's why I put it on there. I was gonna credit it to Jeremy, but yeah.
Oh,
Tell everybody about your quote about JD Vance that you put on Twitter about the date everything.
I said JD Vance wants to play this game, but only if things don't like change into the anthropomorphic version of stuff. Because in this, like when you date something, it like turns into like a
humanoid.
character.
Yeah, the humanoid.
And
thing.
he would just want it to stay whatever it was.
You're perfect as you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he just wants to hump the couch or the lamps or whatever. I'm not really into like dating games or whatever, but I thought this game was kind of hilarious. But I don't want to date existential dread. I have to deal with that like every day anyway. Like seriously, I need a game to help me forget about my own mortality and all that. I don't want to. I don't want to deal with that.
You want it to or not. So yeah.
I know. I'm just saying the existential dread.
I
I was
think
like,
I'm
no, not that.
I'm kind of interested in trying it, but just because I'm a huge fan of the romance stuff. When games have romance stuff in it, so
Yeah.
the fact that that's
Have you
what
ever
this
played
whole
it?
game's based on.
Have you ever played a dating simulator?
I've
Or
played
not?
some of them, like indie ones a little bit. The one that's the funniest one that I remember playing was I did it for Artaboy when they had their video game jam or whatever, and I reviewed a game where you have to go on a date with Frosty, the snowman.
The snowman.
Yeah.
That's
And
random.
that one was interesting. But basically you go out with him, and then if he comes back home with you, you win the game pretty much.
I'll say if you take Frosty home, will he like melt like because of the heat?
I think
in
so.
Your house?
I actually think that might have been
So he ends
what
up
happened.
dying.
You got to keep the hat on during the sex with Frosty. You know.
Yeah, don't lay him down by the
Yeah.
fire, even though Barry White
Yeah,
tells him to.
Well, like I mean, body heat, and Frosty's not gonna make it.
I think the game looks kind of funny. I like.
I think it looks charming.
I'm curious to. Yeah.
But I love all the dating stuff in like Stardew Valley and I guess other games I've played at dating stuff. The Witcher supposedly does.
Hades.
Even Hades did. Yeah, Hades had some cool stuff in it.
Yeah.
And Trey, you got the next one.
I did. I actually bought it twice. I liked it that much. Peglin is awesome. Peglin is a game you're going to hear about. I think it's very good. I think you might like it, Jeremy, because there are some Balatro stuff that I'm reminded of in this game.
Well, let me tell you, I did play the demo. You told me about it.
Oh,
Played
you
the demo
did?
on iOS, and I played all the way through it. Yeah, and I really
Did you like
liked
it? Yeah. It's only $9.
Yeah,
It's
I
only
played all the way
$9.
through the boss.
It's only $9 on
Yeah.
mobile if you want to get it on there. It's $8.99.
I'm thinking about it.
I bought it on Switch. I loved Peggle. Like I love the Peggle game on iOS. It's one of the few mobile games that I've played all the way through. I played the crap out of it. Like it was a great game. And it says like a Peggle RPG, but it's more of a Peggle roguelike than an RPG, I'd say. I mean you can level up, sure, but you don't really decide like how you level up or whatnot. But
You level up your projectiles.
yeah, but you can level up yourself too. Like your HP will go up and all that sort of thing. Like especially when you defeat like certain bosses. But the game, the more I play it, like the more it kind of blows me away just with the creativity of it, because each the way they set up the little let's call them orbs, because you collect orbs and you shoot them at stuff. But the things that you like knock into, the idea is the battle system is you throw your orb out and it'll run into all these other orbs, and that will build up the damage of your attack. And there's bombs on there too, and if you hit the bombs, that'll actually attack everybody on the screen, and all these people, are coming towards you and will be fighting you. And you have you have your HP, and if your HP goes down to 0, then you die and you have to start from the beginning again. That's where all the roguelike stuff is. But each time you die, you get a better upgrade that you get to start the game with, and then you start out a little bit more powerful. The first level set is the same as it's always in the forest, but the second level will be different. Like, because I've actually beat the first level a couple times, and I've gone to completely different places. Like, I went to a castle, I went to like a volcano thing, and like I went to some other shit. So it kind of changes after that. But like the bosses and guys that you'll run into are completely different, because I saw a bunch of characters that I'd never seen before. Like I was playing it today, and I fought this like giant slime guy that was like a boss. And what was really cool is like the way the pegs or the orbs are set up is basically they're in the shape of the slime. So like you got the big slime in the middle. And then there's so you start off where you either shoot from the left side or the right side, and it'll alternate every round. But the slime guy will eventually get close to you, and he'll like eat you, and you'll be inside of the slime's body. And then your ball changes to it goes inside the shape of the slime, like in the game. And I thought that was really really unique. And the slime thing is covered by these orbs that are actually slime orbs. So instead of like ricocheting, your ball like passes through it. Like it's a slime. Like there's some really, really cool creative ideas in here, is what I'm saying. Like I feel like people are going to be talking about this game. Like I was already really enjoying it, and I wanted something else to play on my phone aside from that Monster Hunter puzzle game. So I was like, it's only $9. I'll get it. I'll get it on that too, because I'm already pretty addicted to it. I've already played a good amount of it on my phone and my Switch, and it's a great edited game too, because it's like so slow paced. But yeah,
I really like it.
It kind of reminds me of Balatro, just in the way you collect these different orbs that do different things, and you can upgrade them as well. And it took me forever to figure this out, but after the end of every level, you can pay money to heal yourself. That's how you heal yourself. I went through like a whole game before I could figure out how to heal my own HP or whatever. So that's how you do that.
It can remind me a little bit of the way the map's laid out. It reminds me of Slay the Spire. And kind of sort of similar things where you like will randomly, you'll have like encounters and stuff that aren't just fights. You'll be like, well, you saw something in the woods, and then you did this. What choice did you make? And
there's different icons that represent different things. So there'll be treasure chests, obviously. So that means you'll get a treasure chest. There's coins, which that means you'll go to a shop, and then there's question marks. But you can actually get upgrades that will make question marks have like a higher percentage to be like treasure chests and stuff like that. So you can kind of like fuck with the map even. And then there's like a skull, which is a battle against against regular foes, and there's a bigger skull, which is like a mini boss, and then there's the big boss that's at the end of the map that you play against, and then you go on to the next one. And
one thing I really like about it is that the direction you go on the grid is based on like you do like once you finish the map, your character moves to the middle of the playing field, and then you determine whether you go to the left or the right based on how your ball lands at the bottom. So, and it will show what the icons are, like if it's going to be like a skull, and then on the left side will be a question mark. It's like, well, what's the next tile I'm going to go to? And that's based on where your ball lands as you exit the map, or you exit the level.
It has its own little mini game at the end, where it's like
it's pretty cool.
And there'll be pegs too, like depending on how you finish, like there might be pegs blocking the area that you want to get to, so you might still shoot for it, but then it'll bounce a different way. And some of them there'll be fire in the middle, and if you hit the fire, then it damages your character, so you lose HP for that. And your little ball is the little peglin guy for that part, so he's got the little Yoda ears and all that, and it's cute to see him like bounce around and all that. But yeah,
it seems like maybe you eventually unlock more characters to play than the peglin guy.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I haven't gotten that far, but I think it's really cool. Like I've found some really, really interesting orbs, and I'm still running into ones I haven't seen before. And you can create multi-balls, and it reminds me kind of Balatro, because you can have, where one attack will all of a sudden be like 2,000 hit points, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck happened? Like where it can, because there's criticals in there that you can hit too. There's like yellow pegs that'll be a critical hit that'll make everything higher, but there's also green ones which have R's on them, which will actually reset the pegs, so then they'll come back, and then you can ricochet against more. So yeah, I
really like the bombs.
Yeah, well, the bombs attack all of the characters at once, which helps. And there's been times where I've like thought I was almost dead, and then if I got a couple bombs, and then I wiped everybody out, and then that level was over. So
the other good thing about the bombs is that your ball bounces like more like like further once it hits the bomb. Like, you have to hit the bomb twice.
Yeah, you get
to
hit. You
activate
get
it.
hit twice for it to work. Yeah,
But
for
the
it to
second
be
time
able
you
to
hit
use.
it, it'll like your ball will fly really far after it hits it. So that's kind of cool because it'll. Well, sometimes it's not good, but a lot of times it'll pop it back to the top, and then you'll get a bunch more points.
Yeah, and you get to attack twice, obviously, with the bombs. Or if you get more than one bomb, you'll throw like a few bombs at once,
Uh-huh.
and it'll attack everybody on screen. But then you'll get to do whatever your orb attack is after that. And I've had like there's like knives and swords, or there was like a spinning saw blade, or like there was one where I was throwing ghosts at people, and the ghost would like go through all of the characters, so it would attack all of them at once. There's a lot of really cool shit. Oh yeah, there was a big like boomerang looking thing that I was throwing, like a big like sword looking boomerang, a boomerang blade.
I think I'll probably, if I do get this, it'll probably be on iOS just because it's cheaper for what we're doing.
Go.
It's the game it's a game I want to play. Like I played most of it while I was like on break at work today. Like, oh, this is a great game to play on break.
It's good. Yeah, I'll
Maybe
definitely
when I ride the bus, stuff like that.
like. I have
I'd be interested to know how well this game does in Japan, because it seems like a game that's just like engineered for Japan.
Because of the
RPG.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's more.
Maybe, but it's also feels so much like Peggle. Like
It's a
got
Peggle. It's a
top
Peggle
hat
RPG or Peggle roguelike more than Pachinko. I mean, sure, Peggle was inspired by Pachinko, but it's a Peggle game. Did you never play Peggle, John?
Never did. Nope.
Oh man, it's a great game.
Man, I got so addicted to that game.
Peggle was awesome. Yeah, there was
I have Peggle 2 on my Xbox 360.
Don't you have a DS Peggle? Do you have the DS one, Jeremy? Don't you?
I don't have it.
Okay. Yeah, because that was Jess is really into it too. Actually had
played it on mobile a lot,
had them try out the mobile one, and they were interested in it. But yeah, we were both really into Peggle.
Also, really fun 2-player, 3-player, 4. Like it's a good multiplayer game.
I think Jess originally played it on DS, like played the DS Peggle. But yeah, no, Peggle's awesome. Like, once I saw Peggle RPG, I'm like, okay, sign me up. I'm down for this game, no matter what it is. So I just jumped into it. But the more I learn about it, the more I like it because it has a lot of complexities to it, and I really like the battle system. And I kind of, I'm not really a big roguelike person, but I think I might be into this one because I just like it that much.
How about Wobbly Life? You into Wobbly Life?
Nope. That's a hard no for me, but you like those weird games where the characters don't move the way they're supposed to move.
I do like this kind of game. This sort of looks to me like Human Fall Flat, which is one that I didn't get too into. I have Human Fall Flat. I couldn't quite get a read on what this game actually is. Like, it seemed to be like a third person, open world type game, but you're wobbly, and I don't know. I didn't get a good idea of what it was. I thought it was kind of not a great trailer.
You can like drive cars, I guess. It wasn't very long. I don't know. I'm not really into those. Whatever. Octodad.
Well, there was another one that stole
that
spot for me later on in this. I'll absolutely be getting that other game, which we'll talk about in a minute. How about Pico Park 2? This was like the simple looking co-op platformer, but you can play up to 8 players.
This is the one where everybody's like strapped together.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ice Climbers, sort of, but puzzly.
Or like what was that?
Boy.
What was that one? Unraveled.
Yeah, or Bread and Fred or whatever it was. I got that one, but couldn't figure out how to play it single player. This one had the most annoying voiceover of any of them, where it's like, why didn't you jump that way? Like, oh, why am I over here? I'm having a good time. Hooray! I'm like, oh my god, shut up. Like, all of you, shut the fuck up. Like,
it was actually
drove me the craziest.
Whatever their names are, Kevin and
Alex, the ones that are always their voices doesn't match my mood in the morning when I.
They're always they're always so perky and whatever, trying to do puns, and I'm not into it.
Trying to sound like cartoon characters more than people.
Sure, but yeah, this one was like this one came out today. I think it's or came out whenever. Let's pretend it's today. It came out the time of the direct, so it's out now. I don't know. It's not really. I'm fine. I got enough games this week from the other stuff that was on here that I don't need this. But sure, I mean,
whenever I have 8 people around, I'm not going to be playing like a simple little Atari looking whatever co-op platformer.
Well, I'm sure you can control 8 by yourself, for the 8-player thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
But it's pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap. It came out today. Whatever.
Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope DX. I don't know my Shovel Knight. Which one is this in the series? Is this the first one or what?
Well, I mean, there is only
I have
one.
no idea.
There's only one, really. I mean,
There's
Sho-
one Shovel Knight, and then they did like Plague Knight
yeah,
expansion.
there's the
and
regular
all these
Shovel Knight,
different
and then
expansions.
there's all the spin-offs of it. I was surprised
So
you
this
never
is
played Shovel Knight because it's really good, actually. Like,
It's really, really good.
heavily inspired by Mega Man, and the soundtrack is fucking amazing.
And DuckTales.
Listen to the soundtrack, like it's baller. But yeah, no, it was really, really good. It was a Wii U game originally, like it was on the fucking Wii U. But yeah, I played the shit out of it. I played what was it? It was a launch game for Switch too, and what was it? Plague Knight, I think was. Oh no, maybe it was maybe it was Spectre Knight. It was anyway. It was one of those other nights, and I ended up getting it just because I wanted something to play for Switch because I had got Breath of the Wild for Wii U. And yeah, those games are always really solid. The soundtrack's awesome. The sprite art is really, really good, and I guess they're just doing like a new DX version that has extra stuff and rewind and stuff like that.
Because that's already available on the Switch, isn't it? I
Yeah,
mean,
it is.
Yeah.
So we got the original and we got the remake, the DX. No, okay, cool.
And they are making us. I think they are making an actual like Shovel Knight 2. I think they did say that was
Probably. I
happening.
mean,
And
they got a freaking amiibo. They better be making more of them.
and there's also like Mina the Hollower was like their game that we haven't really seen. Is there a release date for that? I mean, that one looks really cool too.
I don't think so.
But yeah, this is like sizzle stuff, so we can kind of go through it quickly.
Blaze through it.
They showed,
Europa.
they showed Europa. We've talked about that one before. That was
That
another
looks cool.
indie direct.
I'm interested in that one. Still need to see more.
Cuisinart.
Little Breath of the Wild, maybe.
Was it Cuisinart? Is that how you pronounce it? I actually forgot
Cuisinart.
this was in here, probably because it only showed it for 2 seconds, but it kind of looks like a Hades game, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
I thought it looked like Tunic meets Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I thought it looked very Tunic-y.
Yeah, it has kind of that art style, I guess.
Action RPG stuff, and then there was some building up your house, buying some furniture, or whatever. Comes out next year.
All of like
January.
the action RPG stuff looked like Hades because it had the same like camera angle, like the isometric, and it like looked like you were in hell or whatever. So that's kind of what I got from it. On Your Tail, that's like the whatever, the point and click,
the furry adventure game.
Yeah, the furry like detective thing. I remember seeing that one on previous things. Maybe it didn't have a release date, or maybe it did. I don't know. I honestly forgot it was a game until I saw it again on here. I was like, oh yeah, that one.
Coming out in November.
Probably won't ever get that one.
I like a good adventure game. This one looks like it's got some quality to it, so I'll pay attention. This one I thought was maybe like I have one in my bingo that was games that shouldn't be there because they're not really indie or something like that. This is Metal Slug Tactics, which I'm sure it's being developed by an indie studio, but
it's being developed
like
by
SNK.
It's actually being developed by .mu, who made Shredder's Revenge and Streets of Rage 4. So I actually wasn't really that interested in it because I'm not really a tactics person, but I am now just because they've had their own pedigree. But yeah, they seem to, they take bigger licenses, but it's still made by an indie company, so that's why it fits on there. But SNK is almost kind of indie now too, because I just recently learned that they went defunct in like 2002 or 3, and they kind of rebuilt themselves after that because they completely they completely went out, like, because there was originally supposed to be a Capcom versus SNK 3 that never actually happened because they disappeared, and now I think that was on my big
Capcom won.
Well, I mean, they're back now. They came back. They rebuilt themselves with the original developers and all that, and I don't know, I watched a whole video about it. Apparently SNK, like the person who created like Terry Bogard and Fatal Fury and all that, worked on the original Street Fighter game. And Terry Bogard was actually supposed to be the original Ryu, like way back when. So that, you could say that Fatal Fury is even older than Street Fighter. But
because the creator who worked at Capcom at the time wanted to do an American character. And so his original design was
basically
like
because Terry Bogard was is supposed to be
that got nixed.
It's Japanese. It's basically Japan's thoughts on what American people look like, but not really, at the time. But yeah, they basically wanted more traditional Japanese looking characters. That's why they wanted like the karate gi of like Ken and Ryu and all that is what they went with. But yeah, then he left the company and made Fatal Fury, and then Terry Bogard became a famous character and whatnot. But yeah, Metal Slug Tactics, I'm interested in it. It's coming out this year just because of the developer. I'm not really a tactics person, but whatever. Plucky Squire.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
I think we're all into Plucky Squire. This game looks really cool.
Yeah, I'd like to
Yeah,
know.
I want to try Plucky Squire.
I'd like to know what the price is. It's on the eShop, but there's still no price for it. You can look at it, but it doesn't just say a price on the game. So
Coming out on September 17th.
Yep.
There have been a bunch of
it's on top of the
previews
pile
out for it. Everybody seems to be really excited about it. Everybody seems to think this is like a great game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I'm like I said, September is going to be a pretty crazy month. I wanted to try to get it, like if it's in like the $20 range, which I was hoping, but if it's higher than that, I don't know.
I think this is like a $30 game at least.
Yeah,
This looks too quality.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You never know. Like I've seen like stuff that's super quality for $20. Like that doesn't really like say how good the game is, what price it is.
I'm gonna guess this game's 20 to 30.
Yeah. But it's also like it's releasing on the same day as like a bunch of other stuff, so or like on the same week. But yeah, no, I'm definitely interested in it. We had saw the release date on previous trailers, so that was that. And let's do one more thing, and then we can take a break. But the one more thing, I actually bought this one too, just because I've been really excited about it, and it was on my bingo card. Was there anything else on my
It was.
bingo
You
card?
had it on your bingo
Pizza
card.
Tower.
Yeah, so Pizza Tower. I'd actually heard talk about this many a times on various.
Where'd you get that pizza? Oh, it's over in that tower over there.
From the tower. I've heard about it talked on other podcasts, and a lot of people compared it to Wario Land, which we haven't had a Wario Land game in a long time, and it definitely reminds me a lot of Wario Land 4 for Game Boy Advance. From playing it, it basically kind of reminds me a lot of Wario Land 4 mixed with Earthworm Jim. Like, that's kind of what I get from it.
Yep.
It's got that weird Earthworm Jim humor, like where everything's kind of strange and everybody's face is weird and there's always jokes about stuff. Oh, and it even played the song that plays when you're bouncing the dogs back and forth on the giant marshmallow in Earthworm Jim 2.
Oh,
like
right. Yep.
I mean, it's like an Italian
Pizza
song
song
or whatever. So yeah, it plays that song, so it reminds me even more of Earthworm Jim. But yeah, you go through and you find all these different ingredients for the pizza, and you get to the end of the level, and then so you got to run back through the level again, like the same way you do in Wario Land 4. So like it reminds me of that a lot. But yeah, there's
like escape or whatever.
Yeah, and you can run fast and run through things, and there's a lot of like really fast paced platforming where you can jump off of walls and like you can squat down and jump high. Like they throw a lot of stuff at you at the first level in there. I've only played the first level, but the animations are really cool. The sprite work is really cool. Like the art,
The animation
looks very like almost kind of Ren and Stimpy too, with like some of the details
absolutely.
of it. I got that.
It looks
from
like
too.
something like the Fabulous Freak Brothers. You guys, if you remember that, it's not very popular anymore, but it's like this cartoon from the 60s. Old comic book from the like an independent comic book, one of the first wave of independent comics, and they actually did a TV show of it recently, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but I think it got canceled. But it kind of looks like that sort of scratchy, 1960s or 70s independent comic book sort of look. And then it also reminded me too of Anton Blast, which we all played recently, the demo.
Yeah,
how does it compare to that?
It's very similar. They're both similar. I think that Pizza Tower looks a little bit better right now, but I mean, I only played the demo of Anton Blast, but I had heard about Pizza Tower before Anton Blast, so I think I had put it on a previous I'd put it on a previous bingo card just because. So, but yeah, I bought it. I thought it looked cool.
This was a surprise to me, but a pleasant surprise. It looks cool.
Yeah,
I actually found out about this game from memes. Like I didn't know it was a game until I'd seen some memes about it, and I'm like, what are these characters from? And I found out it was, and then some truly bizarre, unhinged memes, I will say. And I was like, what are these? Who are these weird ass characters? Like, was this like a movie? Is this like a cartoon or something? And then I found out, oh, it's a video game, and then did some research. But yeah, I want to play it.
It's good.
And I actually was surprised that it wasn't already. For some reason, I thought it was already on the Switch.
Nope. But yeah, it's. I think it looks very cool. I've spent, like I said, I spent most of the time with Peglin, so that's the one I've been playing more than anything. But why don't we take a break and we'll come back and talk about the second half, and we won't have like 30 minutes of bingo talk before, so it'll be quicker. this part.
Yeah. Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go! And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and, hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
The Peggle game.
Yeah, you can.
It's really cool.
You can actually play the whole thing with the touchscreen, which I guess I didn't mention. And Jeremy was right. You can't actually unlock other characters. I just hadn't saw that yet. Yeah, cool. I just haven't gotten them yet. But yes, you can. You can unlock them like the same way you would, kind of like how you would unlock decks in.
The way I figured that out was just the way they explain the character. Like, this character is this, that, the other. It's like, well, why would they have a character description if there's not going to be other characters?
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, at the beginning, it's like, who do you want to pick? And you can look at the other ones, but it'll be like, do this thing, and you'll unlock this character, whatever. So, cool. All right, we're back. We're back from the break. Let's talk about the second half of the Direct. The big stuff. The partner stuff.
Direct.
This is the partners.
Let's see. I think the other thing that I got, which I mentioned before, that I got on my bingo card was No Silk Song, because I knew that was not going to happen. It's a made-up game. It's never happening. But I got some other things that are on here.
It's vaporware.
Yeah. The Partner Direct, I was like, oh, cool. And this first one, I think we're all into it, right? I thought of Jeremy, sure, because you actually own some of these, the Super Famicom games. But Tetris Forever from Digital Eclipse. And, there's a bunch of Tetris games in there, like Tetris, Bombliss, Super Bombliss. I know, Jeremy, you have Tetris 2 plus Bombliss, right? I think you did a stream of that. Yeah, there it is. That's the Super Famicom game for anybody who's listening to the audio only.
It's basically, they call it Super Tetris 2, but it's just the Tetris 2 game from that we had here in the US. So the Bombliss is like an added on. I didn't care for Bombliss. I didn't think it was that good of a game.
But now there's like 3 versions of it. Now you get Bombliss, Super Bombliss, and Super Bombliss DX.
Tetris is also one that I don't care about, but it is kind of a funny concept, I guess.
Super weird. Yeah, I remember playing it on that Dreamcast NES disc that Trey had.
I just like, I mean, you know, like we need more Tetris on Switch, but we are getting more of it. But the thing I think is pretty cool about this is that you can play a mode where it will randomly change through the different Tetrises, or Tetrises, however you would say that. But
that is.
But that kind of reminds me of the Puyo Tetris game that came out. That was my favorite thing, where it would switch between
Tetris and Puyo.
Switch between Tetris and Puyo, and it was a multiplayer game, and that was a lot of fun. So it reminded me of that game, and I was like, well, that's cool. You have to adapt to the different types of Tetris as you're playing a game. I was like, that's awesome. And you can watch, there's some Tetris documentary stuff in there too. You know, I love video behind the scenes stuff, and you can learn about how bad that Apple Tetris movie was, because you'll hear about the actual story of Tetris in there. And you'll see the main character who's not white, who's in there, and how interesting of a backstory he was. And maybe they'll talk about that third creator who died, who killed himself, which wasn't in the movie either. But yeah, let's learn about real Tetris stuff.
Mainframe.
Actual real things. So
yeah. So, John, you pointed out, right?
Yeah.
Like, I found out from Chris Kohler, like, because I follow Chris Kohler on Twitter. But basically, this is like another one of those, like, I don't know
Gold
if it's being
Masters.
published by them, but yeah, it's the Gold Master. Is it
It
published by?
is published by them. Yeah,
Like a
I watched
Karateka?
the Direct again. I watched the Direct again, and it is made. It says on there that it's made by Digital Eclipse. But it was some Nintendo Life article that mentioned this was the third in the Gold Master series after the Jeff Minter game, and I just thought it was surprising that in this Direct they didn't mention that it was a Gold Master game like the other
I
two.
agree.
yeah.
Very weird that they led with the fact that it's Tetris. I mean, obviously everybody knows Tetris, and so
So you don't need to say a whole lot about Tetris. I mean, yeah, Tetris is Tetris. It's
Right.
legendary.
But I think
maybe just show it halfway through the bit about Tetris, like say this is part of the Gold Master series, which you like the other, Karateka and the Jeff Minter game, and and you like all the stuff that they did with the Atari. That wasn't part of the Gold Master, but just to emphasize a little bit more, this is one of those Digital Eclipse games that you love. Like, I think the Digital Eclipse name, anytime they release a game like this, they should put that front and center, because
I agree.
They've gained such a appreciation among classic video game fans. Like, if you just say Digital Eclipse presents
Yeah.
whatever game that I've even never heard of, like, I'm interested. So, like, they should bring that.
I want to learn something while I play these games.
Yeah, exactly.
And they give you that opportunity. You could just ignore that completely if
Yeah.
you want, but I like that it's there.
I didn't know it was part of that series, but does that mean that it'll kind of do like the documentary style? Like, will it like
That's
work?
exactly
Will
what
it,
it means.
I mean, will it work the games? And I mean, I was just cool about just seeing videos because I like seeing extra making of videos. But is it going to be like the style of Atari 50 and all that stuff?
All that stuff. Yep.
Well, that's cool because I never played any of those games, so I'll do it for Tetris. I mean, I have like
You didn't play the Atari 50?
no.
Oh, I thought you got that for some reason. No, it's
No.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
You gotta get it.
Worth
Yeah,
still.
no,
Yep.
I know you guys.
You'll feel like you're a galloping ghost when you play it.
I just don't like Atari games. I mean, sure,
There's some good arcades, and there's some of the like newer stuff that's in there is really good.
But here's the thing: even though
And there's
most of those-
Jaguar games.
and there's Jaguar games, and there's Lynx games.
Just my inspiration for playing it is none, is zero. So I mean, it's just kind of
And that playing the games is kind of beside the point in that collection. It's just like,
Agreed.
if you're interested in video game history, the best documentary ever made in interactive form on the subject.
It's kind of what Nintendo's doing with their Nintendo Museum, but
yeah.
video game form.
I mean, theirs is probably still better than the Nintendo Museum.
I mean, of course it is. Oh wait, it's better than Nintendo Museum, or vice versa?
I was saying the Atari one's probably better than the Nintendo Museum. I mean, that one's kind of like, hey, you're playing with a giant controller. I mean, I like it, but it's.
I mean, all that's cool. I think I would still be more if I were to visit the Nintendo Museum as me. Me personally, I would be more just excited to be in that building.
Me too.
Sure, yeah. I still
What else you got here?
I still want to go to it. But Tetris is actually coming out this year, and don't forget that attached to the trailer, they also said that the original NES Tetris will be added to Nintendo Switch Online. So if any of us would have had instead of being so specific, if we would have just put Nintendo Switch Online game,
Yeah.
we would have got a bingo for that, because they did say that Tetris was coming to NSO. So we did get one. We did get one thing. It didn't give a specific release date, but it is coming out this year. So hooray! But yeah, I was really happy to see that. I have a folder on my Switch that is just Tetris games, because I have like 3 Tetris games, maybe 4, but add it to the pile. Tetris is a great game. Let's do more of it. Speaking of great games, I thought the Star Overdrive game looked pretty badass.
Cool.
Actually, like I really wanted to play it. Like it, I don't know. I got that game Wavetail, where it's like you surf around on the water and like you fight guys. It kind of reminded me of that, but surfing on like sand, and you have a surfboard.
Yeah.
And I thought the graphics looked cool, and I thought the bad guys look cool, like the sandworm thing that like jumps up behind the guy. Like I thought this game looked kind of badass from what I saw.
It's kind
I
of
was
like
oh yeah,
Hoverboard
I'm
of
into
the
it.
Wild. Yeah,
Yeah, kind of.
It looks
like a Tony Hawk adventure game or whatever. Like I was really into it.
Yep.
That's what is that, like number 5 for 2025 or something like that? That's another next year thing, but yeah, no, I really liked the way it looked, and for some reason, some of the art kind of reminded me of No More Heroes, but yeah,
or
no,
maybe
it's
like Jet Set. I was thinking Jet Set Radio.
oh sure, yeah. No, I like the idea of combining of an action game where you get to also like surf on sand or whatever. So yeah, I was really interested in this one. I mean, it's going to be a while. Oh yeah, and you can jump on giant D&D dice, like 20-sided dice or whatever. Like there's a part on that. Oh yeah, and you can surf with sandworms. Like, they're going to be all the rage after everybody sees Beetlejuice 2 next weekend. But yeah, 2025 Star Overdrive I thought looked real fun.
I'm totally getting
the
this
next one.
Goat Simulator 3.
For sure.
This is a
absolutely
John game.
All over the place. I called this on the bingo list. I knew that it had been out for a while on PC, and I think this game is sold like gangbusters on the Switch, because I think every so often, especially whenever it goes on sale, it always appears on the top sellers list. And then just the way that my nephew reacts to this game.
Oh, your nephew probably loves it. Yeah, because
loves Goat Simulator. I think there's a lot
silly.
of nephews and nieces and little kids out there who just like love playing Goat Simulator. It feels like you're getting away with something. It feels a little bit naughty, but it's totally kid appropriate, and it's just funny. It's like everybody can look at this game and laugh. It's an across the ages type of game.
I kind of like that all the bizarreness of the first game like became canon within it. Like the giant tongue, and like now it's just part of like it's almost less bizarre because
just
now it exists within its own space. Yeah.
Now this is just like the everything and the kitchen sink third person action game. Like I love it. It's a fun game, fun series. Well, it wasn't a series until now, but it is actually the second game, although they call it Goat Simulator 3.
Okay, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, they skipped one, right?
Yeah.
But but it also kind of seemed like Goat Simulator was just going to be, games as a service kind of thing where it's just going to continually be updated.
Seemed like they put out a lot of like DLC packs and that kind of stuff. So I'm glad they finally made a new one. It's been 10 years, so I'm really excited to try this one out.
And
sometime again, very expensive month.
Well, it's a $30 game, and I think it's on sale for $26 right now. It does have a sale. Yeah, $26.99 marked down from $29.99. So, I mean, you could save like $3 for the next 12 days if you decided to get it. But it is out now. It released today. Yep. That seemed like.
Now, on the flip side of things, here's a game that's absolutely not my type of game. So take it away.
Okay, so so there's a sizzle reel after this, and this is the ultimate video game sin in this direct. Is they spent 2 seconds, and I've seen people talking about this online too, and it took me a while to figure out what it was. They spent 2 seconds on Trails in the Sky. If anybody is familiar, Trails in the Sky is actually the beginning of all those Trails of Cold Steel, Trails of Reverie, whatever, all those games. And I've been waiting for these games to be released on Switch for very, very long. I think they were only released on Saturn or something like that. It was barely released. I think you can get it on Steam, the original one, but not really on consoles. And I think they said at one point that they were going to release 1 and 2 for in Japan on Switch. But this is like a remake, a full-on remake of the original Trails in the Sky game. And awesome. It got like a 5-minute trailer on the Japanese Direct. Like it got a lot more stuff to it because it's such a huge series. But this is like a series that's been going on for like 20 plus years, whatever. And you have to play all the games to get everything. And I always wanted to start from the beginning, and now you will finally be able to start from the beginning on Switch. So they're releasing the original Trails in the Sky game, and yeah, it's being remade. And it's being done in the same style of whatever the last Trails game was that came out. So anybody who's into those games are going to be really excited about this. I've already seen a lot of people talking about it online. I'm 100% down for it because I've been wanting to play these, but I wanted to play the first one, and now I finally can, instead of trying to play a ROM on Steam or something like that, which I don't want to do. I want to play an actual on a system, and now I can play it on Switch. Coming out next year at some point, but yeah, the naming of it was really confusing. The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, the first. I don't know what the fuck that means. That could be like the sequel to whatever the last one was that came out. Like, I don't know. Be a little more clear on that. Like I said, it took me a minute to figure out what it is, but now I'm really excited about it now that I finally know what it actually is. But yeah, it's really that line is just confusing as fuck. the whole title of that.
I mean, there's a lot of JRPGs whose titles are word salads, so I guess it kind of is a flag saying, hey, if you like those type of games, here's this crazy title for you. You'll probably like this too.
But let's say, there's like 16 Final Fantasy games. Let's pretend that all these games actually they have similarities, but they aren't like all the same stories and same characters or whatever. But these ones are, and there's like 20 of them, and people have been wanting to play those original games. And I'm just saying that it should have been celebrated more. It's a big deal for anybody.
Who's the publisher? Is it Neon Falcom?
Yeah, it's Falcom. It's NIS Falcom. So yeah, it's still in the same. All the characters look like Ys characters because they use the same art style. But I've been wanting to play these games for a long time, but I wanted to start from the actual beginning, and now I finally can. So hooray! Trails in the Sky the first. Yeah, just call it Trails. Just call it Trails in the Sky. Just call it Trails in the Sky 1. You don't need to do all this other shit. I don't know. You're making it real confusing here. But yeah, I'm into it. Star Wars Hunter Season 3. There's an Ewok in there. Now you can play as an Ewok on top of an AT-ST. Cool. All-terrain scout transport is what that stands for any Star Wars person who knows about that. We play Star Wars Hunter sometimes on our Monday stream, so I know Logan's really into it, so I don't know. I'll check out the new characters. It's all free. It's Season 3 of Star Wars Hunters. It's kind of a fun game, whatever. I don't know what Stalker Legends of the Zone trilogy is, but it's a first-person shooter that I haven't played, so I'll possibly try it out. I don't know.
I guess it's 3 of them.
Yeah, there's a whole trilogy I haven't even heard of, so I don't know.
On top of that, Stalker appears to be an acronym, so
what does that mean? I don't know. I'm kind of interested in it, I guess, for what it is. Did anybody want another Worms game?
I'm kind of pissed. I almost wrote Worms down in my I wish I had. Not that it would have gotten me a bingo, but at least I would have gotten another mark. Well, it's because I seen something from I keep forgetting what that show was. The one that just happened in Japan.
Bit Summit.
There was Bit Summit. Yeah. There was a Worms game there, and I'm like, I already have a Worms game. Because
we got the first one, right? The first Switch Worms game that came out. I forget what it was called, but it's a good Worms game. We did a stream of it one time, in the same room. We played that game. I mean, we played Worms a lot in college. It was a big big college
LAN
game. And, we played over LAN and all that. But I'm not going to get this Worms game. I already have a different Worms game.
No, I don't think so either.
But here's another one. I don't know if you ever played any of these games. They were really fun. And what was it? There was like a 3D. There was the 3D 64 one. I remember playing that with Tim.
I played it at your house.
Yeah. But I mean,
and it's all based off like an old, which I actually remember playing when I was a kid. It was like an Apple game where you were like tanks instead of worms.
Yeah, there was one where I think it was popular in a lot of grade schools. But I remember. You had to calculate, put in the velocity, and then I think in mine it was like a gorilla, and I vaguely remember a banana. You're trying to toss a banana to the gorilla, but you just do it by numbers, and it's essentially the same idea.
I actually remember being like tanks, and I think you may have typed in like angle and velocity, but it was still ultimately it was Worms. Like when I played Worms the first time, I was like, oh, I remember that game. It looks so much like that old game.
I wonder if whoever made Worms, because I'm sure Worms came later. They played this type of game in their grade school, and they were like, "I want to make a real good console version of that."
By the way, if you want to buy the original Worms game, it's on sale. It's 80% off right now. You can buy it for $6 if you want to play Worms WMD, Weapons of Mass Destruction.
It's great too.
It's a decent game, and it's $6 marked down from $40. So if you got the itch to play Worms, get it now, or mark down for 30.
A single player campaign and everything.
Yeah, it's cheap. Yeah. So they gave it a direct sale. So it's on sale through next week. So you only got a week on it. But yeah, check that out. There's that. Next thing, Disney Dreamlight Valley in-game event. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of
What do you
people
think?
like this game, but I don't like the way
I haven't played it
I don't
yet.
like the way the characters look. Like I don't like the art style of. I don't like the way your character looks. Like the character you play as. I think it looks really weird. Like I'm not into it. But I don't know. Some people like it. I just don't like the way it looks. And I'm
You're
not
so
really.
not
I'm not
a Disney adult.
I
No,
mean,
I'm not.
I am for some things. I really like Disney Speedstorm. Like that was a fun game. But this game, I don't like the way this game looks. I don't like the way I would have to look in the game. Like the way
Anybody who likes Star Wars is a Disney adult now.
well, the one
That's true.
Well,
I like
or-
Marvel. I guess I'm a Disney.
Or Marvel, yeah.
or Alien or X or like anything. They bought everything. They own everything now.
They do.
You like Predator, Alien? They own all of it. So
Do you like
yeah.
ABC Sports? They don't.
You're a Disney adult.
You're a Disney adult.
Yeah. Do you like? I mean, do you like sports at all? I think they own like ESPN also. So I mean,
Do they?
they own everything. Yeah. That's why they played what was it? The original trailer for Star Wars Episode 7 played during a football game because they own fucking ESPN. Like, I thought that was funny. But yeah, I think the tickets went on sale too during like a Sunday night football game or something.
They
like
also own a lot of land, so cool.
that. Yeah, they own too much stuff. But yeah, I don't care about that game. But SpongeBob, whatever his name is, what's his name? SpongeBob SquarePants.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Has a new game, the Patrick Star game. I don't know. It kind of looks
So is
like
this a new game or is this another remake game?
I think it's
It's
a
a new one.
I thought it was a
Like
new
Battle
game.
of Bikini Bottom, I know that was the remake.
Well, there was Battle of Bikini Bottom, but they actually did do a sequel to that was new. So I thought this was another new one because it was on. I actually did play it because it was on Apple Arcade.
It's a new one.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This has become like The Simpsons for younger people. Like a lot of people really like it, but I don't know. I mean, it looked nice, I guess, as far as 3D platforming goes, but it's not really my thing. It's
It's really sad. Like the creator died.
yeah,
pretty
that is
young.
true. Yeah, the creator did die.
Yeah.
Like before
So
the before the reboot, right? Because they didn't
Uh-huh.
reboot it, but they kept it going, right? They
I'll say
started
it was
the
like
show.
10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah,
Was it that long ago? I don't know. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
probably.
I think it was a few years ago, but maybe it was 10 years. Anyway, yeah, SpongeBob SquarePants, Patrick Star game. It's cute, whatever. But what's definitely not cute, Fitness Boxing 3, your personal trainer.
Your personal trainer.
yeah.
But you can
So is
change
this
their
like-
hair. I thought that was so funny. Like they made a big deal.
Was
I
this the
can
same
change
game that
their
had
hair.
the Fist of the North Star
Yes.
edition?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever?
Did
Okay.
you get the Fist of the North Star one, John, or you didn't when it was on sale?
I
It
downloaded
was,
the
like,
demo.
on sale.
I never bought it.
Oh, because
There
I
was
saw.
a sale like a month or so ago where at Best
Yeah.
Buy you could get it for like $10 or something. I didn't pick it up.
I thought maybe you got it when it was like heavily on sale or whatever. I played the demo of this game regularly during the pandemic when we were trying to just do exercise stuff at home because we weren't doing anything, and I just did Ring Fit. I like Ring Fit better, so that's what I did.
Oh, Ring Fit's great.
during the pandemic, but these
It's the best. It's the best of any of the fitness games I've played. Like I think
Yeah,
it's the
I
best
agree.
one.
but yeah, we can skip past or go past this one. We don't
We-
need to talk
we
about
can
I think we can
Capcom-
skip this
Capcom
next.
Fighting
We're gonna
Collection.
skip this next one too.
Yeah.
No. Oh, you put up the picture. Yeah, I took a picture of all the games on there. So yeah, holy fuck, this one was on my bingo card. I've seen a lot of people online being like, "Holy fuck,
I want this one.
let's go." I've talked about it before many a times. If you get on our Patreon, listen to our top 10 favorite GameCube games of all time. I put Capcom versus SNK 2 on there because I'm gonna tell you right now, hot take, whatever. Capcom versus SNK 2 is better than Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's what I'm telling you.
Wow.
It's a better game. That's what I'm telling
Wow,
you.
you committed that to digital
Wow.
audio.
Well, I like it better because Capcom versus Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is more like combo based and air combos, and I can't do all those. I don't really know how to do all that stuff. I'm not that good at it. But Capcom versus SNK 2 is more like traditional Street Fighter, and SNK and Street Fighter are both very, very strong
So you're not doing like tagging.
fighting game companies, and them
Do you
coming
still
together.
like tagging
is
other
awesome.
teammates and stuff?
You actually don't on 2. You can't tag them in and
Okay.
out, but you can in Tetris. No, in Street Fighter X Tekken, you can tag them in. But no, I just like it better. The SNK character is really cool, and I love Marvel, but I'm just much better at Capcom vs SNK 2 than I am at.
I'm really
Marvel vs.
interested in those
Capcom.
last two games because I don't have those ever been released on a Nintendo console before.
Yeah, so let's just break it down here. So there's a new Capcom Fighting Collection 2, or new Capcom Fighting Collection coming out. It's And on my bingo card, I said Capcom vs. SNK 2 or 3 because there's been rumors saying that they might be making an actual third one because they were originally trying to do it, but SNK went defunct, and then now they've come back and Terry Bogard is actually coming to Street Fighter 6 is going to be in the game, so Capcom has been pushing a lot of
ultimate crossover,
a lot of SNK Fatal Fury stuff, so people think that they are actually going to do that Capcom vs. SNK 3, which would be awesome. But yeah, so then this got announced. We have Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2. I've never played 1, so I'd like to check that out. Project Justice, which when I researched it some more, Project Justice is actually Rival Schools 2, and I put Rival Schools on my bingo card because Rival Schools is another Capcom fighting game that I always wanted to play, and the main character is in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, so I only know him from there, but I always wanted to check those games out. And I watched.
I'm kind of wondering why they didn't put Rival Schools 1 in there as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just put that in there too.
But I watched some videos of Project Justice, and it looks kind of cool. It's got like a single player thing where you're like at school, but you got to fight people also. It's got this whole like story mode in there that looks like a lot of fun. So I'm gonna I'm be real excited to play that.
I remember reading about this in Game Pro, and that just like made me. It was one of the games that made me start to think like, oh, maybe I should get a PlayStation. Like they're getting like cool, different kind of anime style games and stuff, and like it kind of made me a little jealous looking over the fence at PlayStation.
So Capcom Fighting Evolution, which I was just listening to Retronauts podcast where they were talking about fighting games, and a lot of people, there's a lot of hate for that game because I guess that's what became of, because we were supposed to do they're going to do Capcom vs. SNK 3, but then SNK wasn't a company anymore, so they basically kind of put together this game, this particular one, Capcom Fighting Evolution. It's more Street Fighter stuff. I mean, I'd like to play it anyway, but I guess the sprites don't look great and like the balancing is weird or whatever, but I'll still have fun with it. But I want to try it out. It's got some interesting characters in there. I think there's like one character that's only on that game versus other ones. This next one, Street Fighter Alpha Upper, that's actually how you call it. I never knew that was how you're supposed to call it. So Street Fighter Alpha Upper was actually only on PlayStation Portable and Game Boy Advance. I actually have my Game Boy Advance Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper going on my TV right now. So, yeah, it's basically Street Fighter Alpha 3 with a bunch of other characters, some characters from Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and some from the earlier Alpha games. But yeah, this was it was exclusively handheld. It was just on PlayStation Portable and Game Boy Advance, and now they're putting it in a fighting collection, which is pretty awesome. So that'll be the fourth time of me buying, I guess fifth time if you count the Game Boy Advance Street Fighter Alpha 3, that I've bought Street Fighter Alpha 3. But Street Fighter Alpha 3 is one of the best Street Fighter games of all time, so get it and play it and love it. So that's what I say. Plasma Sword, that looks like a more 3D battler, but the guy with the sword that's in there, I've seen him in, I think he was in Capcom vs. SNK, but I've seen him in other verse games. But yeah, I think the main two that I don't know if been re-released ever is Power Stone 1 and 2, which were like Dreamcast 3D fighting
classics.
games.
Yeah.
Some people would exclusively. I feel like some people bought Dreamcast just for these games.
Yeah.
I've never played. I never played Power Stone.
I haven't either.
I've heard people talk very nicely about it.
Smash Bros. Before Smash Bros. In some ways.
Well, it's like a top-down arena fighter thing. They actually did make
I've played it before.
They made a game that was like that on Switch. Actually, the first time we had Kevin Fair on the show, he talked about it. I don't remember what it's called, but I did buy it. But yeah, it was a Power Stone Switch game.
On my Dreamcast, I had a demo disc, and Power Stone, I want to say it was 2, it had a level on there on the demo disc, which I would play a lot of. And this is, it was definitely after Smash 64, but I could see how maybe Nintendo was looking at Power Stone for Melee.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I recall it being compared more to, because I don't know anything about it. I just know I've heard it's more like Smash Bros. Than like a traditional fighting game. Not to say it's the same as Smash Bros. But
yeah, it's more like Smash Bros. Than a traditional fighting game than any of these other fighting games that from what I know about them on this collection. It's more like you're wandering around an arena. It's a 3/4 angle,
isometric,
isometric view. Yeah, so it's not like Smash Brothers in the way that it's 2D view and all that stuff. but you can wander around freely. You pick up items, and you I don't think you knock them off the stage or anything like that, but it's an item based arena fighter, essentially, you can call it. And it's a party game. It's totally a party game. Like it's
Yeah.
a fighting party game the same way that Smash is.
Do you remember? Because I know the Dreamcast had 4-player simultaneous, but could you do more than 4? Like, was it a game that, or was 4
Online
like the
or anything?
max? Yeah.
I don't recall specifically.
I mean, it will have online when it's released for Switch. And they're actually a really cool thing about this collection. And there were two separate trailers for each of the two fighting collections that are in this direct that I watched. And a big thing for us for our like whatever fighting game wrestling stream that we do every week. We were talking this week about lobbies, like because you can only have 4 people in a lobby at a time in the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary collection, and we wanted to have more because we actually did have 5 people on at the time where we were all trying to play. And Joe was saying that Ultra Street Fighter 2 had more, and I actually looked at the trailers for these, and both this one and the Marvel one have 9-person online lobbies. So that's pretty awesome that you can have 9 people together in a room, and you can all watch each other fight and talk. Well, you probably have to talk through Discord, but it's going to be fun. Like, we're going to do that, and we'll have 5 people, and you're welcome to show to come on if you want, Jeremy, and we'd all play the game and talk to each other and all that, and it's fun. That's what we've been doing with what we tried to do with AEW Fight Forever, but we kind of switched to Street Fighter 30th Anniversary and Fortnite and all that now. But yeah, I'm excited about that. You can have more people on there for that sort of thing. And the game on Switch that was like Power Stone that came out was called Last Fight. That was what it was called.
Okay.
And that game was actually pretty decent. Like I liked it for the time, and I think it's like a French developer or something like that. But because I think everybody had accents. But yeah, no, that was a cool.
Oh,
game.
never mind then. Just kidding.
F the French. No. Actually, I thought it was a decent game. Like I had a good time with it when I bought it, and it wasn't very expensive. But yeah, if you can't wait,
as long as it's not French Canadian.
If you can't wait for Power Stone, then get that one. But the one thing that sucks about this announcement was this is a 2025 one too. I was like, and it didn't even have a date. I'm like, oh my god, give it to me now. I want it now. Put it in my veins, please. Let me play. I might not live till 2025. Put it on here now. So, but no, I want to. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that I kind of non-intentionally caused it because I did buy Capcom versus SNK 2 for my PlayStation 3 for $10 digitally, the PS2 version. So.
Oh yeah, you did cause it.
But I did buy it, but it's not going to be out yet, and
You are the main character.
I like playing it. Well, I can play it with my G16 with my Leverless controller, and it's a lot of fun. So. Yes, great. And then right after that, this was also on my bingo card, was Marvel vs. Capcom Collection release date. I said specifically because they had not announced it in a trailer. It was just leaked, like from.
It was leaked. And it turned out that was the physical release date, the November.
It's actually coming sooner.
Date.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was a nice surprise, coming in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, 2 weeks.
The 12th. Yeah, the 12th of September. It's coming out at $50. I don't care. I'll pay that. It's got plenty of games on there for me to fuck around with, and we'll definitely be playing it online for our stream. But yeah, Marvel's Capcom Collection has a release date, and the actual physical is coming out in November, which was what was rumored to be the release date was November 22nd, and that was because of leaks from the retailers and all that. So, yay, Marvel's Capcom Collection. Are you still planning on getting that one, John? It's kind of. I mean, that versus it was like that with Zelda.
There's so much this month. I will absolutely get it at some point.
I wasn't sure if you'd get it right off the top because $50 seems like a lot, especially for you because you don't really play fighting games. And this is
I don't play fighting games.
Fighting games.
Yeah, I think there'll be a Christmas sale. I mean, they've released it enough time that by Christmas they'll put it on sale for $10 off or 15. I don't know.
Maybe so.
So maybe I might get it at that time. There's just way too much in September, and there's a certain Zelda game coming out that takes priority.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'm glad. It has an official release date, and I'm glad it's right around the corner. We actually got pretty much right when Capcom versus SNK 2 was announced. I got a text from Shake that was like, "Dude." So I'm glad I was watching it live because I would have got a spoiler like right then, but yeah, we were all.
I don't think I mentioned that.
We were all pretty excited about it.
I got to watch it mostly live. Like I think I started the stream like 20 minutes late, but it was still going. So I was like a I was a little lagged, but I was able to watch it as well.
Oh, he just said Capcom Fighting Collection 2, like on our like text group or whatever.
Shake
is what he said. So I was like, oh yeah, let's do it. So Marvel's Capcom
All right, the next
2,
two in a row,
or Capcom vs SNK 2. Yeah,
the next two in a row, more word salad JRPGs. All right, take a deep breath for this one. Atelier Yumiya, the Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land.
well, there's a bunch of these. I always kind of wanted to play these, but there's too many of them. But yeah, here's another one. It's pretty much hot lady character runs around and you do RPG stuff around it. It's very what was it? Alex Arona reviewed one of these and he said it was like the chicken noodle soup of RPGs. Like it was very like wholesome and cozy or whatever. Like it's not as like I don't know, shit's happening, but it's not like world destruction or whatever. It's very much cozy if you like traditional JRPGs. But the next one is actually a pretty big deal because some people consider Suikoden 2 to be the greatest RPG of all time, or whatever. Suikoden 2, the greatest RPG of all time, and now we actually have a release date for it. I know it got delayed before.
I do want to try this one now.
But I actually do have a Suikoden on PlayStation 3 because I bought the PlayStation 1 ROM of that or whatever the virtual console. Title. But the one that they're calling it is a Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remaster, Gate Rune Dunin Unification Wars. Yeah, that is a lot. Gate Rune and Dunin Unification Wars. Or Dunin, I don't know. Dunan.
What do we do
how
here?
You would say that. It makes sense probably if you played the games. But yeah, no,
exactly.
1 and 2 have been talked highly by Retronauts and Jeremy Parrish and Axel Blood God, and these are legendary games that people consider to be the best games of all time. A lot of people say above Chrono Trigger even, and stuff like that. But I just really want to play them and the sprites look good. Like the new sprites, I thought looked nice from the video and all that. Because you never know, because sometimes some games get remade and the sprites look weird on the remakes. But I thought these ones looked all right. So hooray!
Hell yeah! Hey, how about this one? How about I finally got a bingo mark on this next one?
Which one is that? Oh yeah, Dragon Quest
3 HD 2D, and it actually got a release date as well.
It did have a release date before, but it has a price now. Yeah, it was always in November. We got it on the last Direct, I think. But it's $60. It's a whopping $60 for a remake of an NES game. But they're actually, they're doing a lot of stuff to it. And there's in the Direct, there's a little thing where it's like, oh, hey, look, there's a slime over there. You might be able to train that and use that. Oh, but not now. Like, there is a little, thing that's like, oh, okay. So we're going to have some, Dragon Quest Monsters stuff in here, which is cool. Like, that wasn't originally in DQ3, and it is now. So,
right.
So, that's, I was pretty excited about that. I was like, okay, new shit coming. Oh, yeah, and there's new classes also that weren't originally in the game. And this is another game that's considered one of the best RPGs of all time, especially by Japanese people. If you see any, if you see a list top RPGs of all time, it's always in the top 3, the Dragon Quest 3.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's a great game. I played it on Game Boy Color was the version that I played, but I had a blast with it.
Legendarily, it shut down Japan the day it came out.
Yeah, but there's even a part in a game that we'll talk about later called Blank Zero, where you get to wait in line for this particular game, except it's called something else, but it's supposed to be Dragon Quest, obviously, because that was a huge event in Japan, and I always thought that was funny that you get to do that.
But I was happy to get a mark on my bingo card. I will say that.
Definitely, yeah. I didn't even think about Dragon Quest 3, and this one is, of course, being remade by.
Why wouldn't you? I thought you were a fan.
I am a fan, but I just figured. They just talked about it.
I thought
on
you were
the
always
last
thinking
one.
about Dragon Quest.
Yeah, they just talked about it on the last Direct, so I thought they were done with that. But what they're not done with, thankfully, is Castlevania Dominus Collection. Shouldn't it be called something with an S? So it says Castlevania DS instead of DC. There's a missed opportunity there too. Why can't it be
to make it DS
Dominus Selection or
Dominus Selection,
something like that? So it could because Dawn of Sorrow was DS. They had this whole thing where they were doing all the DS titles. That was kind of a gimmick.
They could even done Dominus Selectum or something. Make it sound super.
Yeah, right.
Maybe they thought they were doing it with Dominus itself. D at the beginning, S at the end.
Well, Dominus is it's like something talked about in the games, I guess. I noticed that because I played some of Dawn of Sorrow. I did get this game. It came out for $25. It has 5 games in it, actually. It has the 3 DS games, but it also has the Haunted Castle arcade and a remake of the Haunted Castle arcade also. So there's 2 extra games on there. And they're already pretty long games. My nickname, or my middle name from the very beginning of this episode, when I said, I am here to see you're dead, that's from the opening of the game, where the lady says, I'm here to see you're dead. And I was like, what? There's a typo on a DS game? So yeah, that's where I got that from. Or some English, whatever, sort of thing. So there was that.
What is man? Oh wait, no, that's a different game.
Yeah, that's that. Well, I thought that by the time this one came around, they would have fixed a lot of that, but it still has some funny lines in there. But no, it looks great. They do the DS to TV adaptation pretty well, I think. There's a big picture, like the area you play on is the biggest part of the screen. Then there's a little 2 screens on the side that shows the map and shows your stats or whatever for your character. One thing that I do miss is they took out the original FMV from the DS game. Like if you remember on Dawn of Sorrow, whenever you open the game, it did like this minute long animated sequence, and it's not in this collection, which that makes me sad because I remember showing.
I'm wondering if it's not like an unlockable or something eventually.
Yeah, I mean you just saw it when you started the game up, and I remember showing it to people, be like, "Look, FMV on DS, look how good it is." I totally watched that thing a billion times, and I was kind of sad it wasn't there. But regardless.
We finally got FMV.
Yeah, but I only have I only have 2 of these games, and I don't think I ever beat Portrait of Ruin. So I was, and I love Dawn of Sorrow. I've
beaten 2 of the 3 DS games. I actually own all 3 of them.
Yeah,
but
I have the 3rd one.
Order of Ecclesia is supposedly like this amazing game, and I've played a little bit of it. I really liked it, but I never actually finished it.
Oh, I thought that one was too complicated. I don't know. I thought Jeremy Parrish didn't like that one as much.
I remember hearing that it was really
it reviewed pretty well at the time.
Yeah, I got it for that reason. I thought it was the most amazing DS game from what I'd heard, so I actually picked it up. I didn't play too much of it, but I do remember being impressed by some of the bosses filling the screen and all that kind of cool stuff, which hadn't really been done on a portable before. I felt like it was a big game on a portable system.
Well, it was our last game like this. It was our last of these.
It was like our last good Castlevania game, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't the first time that was done because they had characters filling the whole screen on the Game Boy Advance Castlevania.
Well, maybe not the first time, but
Mario of Sorrow.
It felt new at the time.
I think the big thing with Ecclesia was you could swap between characters on the fly, which I don't think you could do since Castlevania 3.
Yeah, there were different characters for Portrait of Ruin, right? But you couldn't swap with them in game,
right?
I thought there were different characters you played as, though.
I know I beat Portrait of Ruin. I don't remember it at all, but I know I did play all the way through it when it came out.
And one of my biggest critiques of Dawn of Sorrow was, you had these magical seals that you had to do where you'd have to draw a symbol in the middle of a boss. Well, you beat a boss, and then after you beat the boss, you had to do the symbol. And if you do the symbol wrong, the boss, continues living, and you have to fight it some more. And then you have to do the seal again. And if you fuck that up again, the boss comes back to life again. You have to fight the boss again.
Yeah, it can be kind of frustrating.
So they've kind of fixed that, where actually now you do the seal by pressing specific buttons on the control pad. So that kind of helps. But also, I couldn't figure it out when I got to the first boss, and I did die because of that same thing, because I couldn't figure out how to do the thing. And I was playing it handheld, and I was trying to just draw it on the screen like you would on the DS, and I couldn't get it to work because it wants you to automatically do the to do the face buttons. But if you hold the ZR button, there's a little pointer that shows up, and you can move that around with the right stick. And that basically is the way that it replaces using your finger to break ice and stuff like that, like you would in the original game. I mean, what you have to do is not really, all you have to do is the magic seals, and there's an ability that you get where you break glass with the touchscreen.
And I guess that was really just about pigeonholing the DS functionality into the game.
Yeah, it was just adding more shit, pretty much. So. Oh my God,
next up is Sid Meier's Civilization 7 coming out in February of next year.
Do we really need another Civ game? Come on, guys.
We talked about it last week, right? Didn't we? We talked about the new trailer. Whatever. I don't care about these games.
Trailer came out for the new game in general across all the different platforms. But this was just introducing that it is in fact coming to Switch day and date with every other platform next year.
There
Once
you go.
again, I had some interest in it, but I would not be getting it on a console. I would want to be playing this with the mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I want to play this with nothing. That's what I want to play with. Tales of Graces F remastered. I was curious about this one.
So this one I wasn't 100% sure because I knew it was a Tales of game, but I was like, was this one of the ones that just came to like Xbox or PlayStation, during that period of time where, well, we weren't getting any Tales games after Symphonia.
It was
wasn't there Tales of Symphonia 2 that came out on the Wii? And that was like the last Tales game we got.
Well, this one was actually a Wii game. Tales of Graces is actually is a Wii game.
It was just Japan exclusive.
Yeah, it was a 2009. Because I looked it up because I want to know what it was as well. And it was originally released for the Wii in 2009, and then later it was released. The next year it was released for PS3 in Japan, and then a couple years later in America in 2012. So. We got it for everything except for Switch, and now it's coming, except for Nintendo consoles. Well, we originally got it for a Nintendo console, but not an American one, and now we're getting it on Switch, a remade version of it or whatever. So that's what that is. Yeah, I didn't know what Tales of Graces was. I thought maybe it was one of the original ones or a Game Boy Advance one, so I looked it up, and it's a 2009 Wii game. So that's what that is.
Cool, though. I mean, the people that love Tales games love them. I've only really played Symphonia, and it was during an RPG drought in my life, so it came at a good time. And it's actually, I think, the first game I played where I actually kind of understood what was going on with job systems and stuff like that. So it did teach me some stuff.
Whatever the one on Switch, Zestiria, or whatever it's called, maybe that's the one. I thought that one was good, and I never beat it, but I thought it was good. The one that was an Xbox exclusive.
I have the GameCube Tales of Symphonia, and I actually own the Wii sequel as well, but I haven't really played it.
I have it too, but I have the Wii sequel also, but I never played it. Whatever the PlayStation one is free through the premium bundle or whatever, and I really want to try that one out, whatever the last one was, because I heard that one's really good. But let's keep moving because we got a lot of stuff on here.
You know what we don't care about at all is My Sims Cozy Bundle. This is totally random.
Another Sims game. I mean, when was the last time we saw a Sims game? I mean, I don't know.
Another cozy game.
I was kind of a little interested just because I haven't seen a Sims game in a long time. And you can give yourself different hair and outfits or whatever. You kind of
change their hair.
They kind of look like minifigs, like the little Lego minifigs, sort of, because their legs are so tiny. Yeah. And that's a 2025 game.
I always think that the Sims. Year. Yeah, there was a period of time where the Sims and the Miis basically looked the same on the Wii.
Sure.
Yeah, they tried to make them like a little bit, I don't know, cartoonier when they put them on the Wii. I remember that.
It was
an extension of that, I suppose.
It was Tales of Vesperia. I got it wrong. Tales of Vesperia was the one that came out on Switch that was an Xbox exclusive. I thought that game was pretty cool from what I played of it, and I still kind of want to play through it at some point. But
we got 2 Five Nights at Freddy's games, Help Wanted 2, and Security Breach Ruin DLC. Yep.
Yeah, there's like those were a release today game too. I don't know. I've never played any of these games. I kind of we're planning on watching the movie at some point, just because it's on. Oh, it's always been digital. I don't know why people saw it in theaters, but I heard it was terrible. But Matthew Lillard's in it from SLC Punk, so I'm actually more interested in seeing it because I love him.
I actually recommend listening to that Retronauts episode because I didn't really care that much about Five Nights at Freddy's because I just saw it as like shovelware and stuff. I mean, I knew like kids liked it just like they liked Fortnite and Among Us and all that. Five Nights at Freddy's was kind of an earlier version of that. Definitely a big thing, like when people were doing before Twitch really blew up, people were still just doing like YouTube versions of them playing stuff, and they were like screaming a lot. Like this was the game that everybody was yelling at the screen about.
Yeah, because it's like a jump. Is it because it's a jump scare game?
It's totally a jump scare game.
So you can
this. I don't know the developer, like hearing about him in that episode made me really interested, wanting to like look into, not necessarily play the games, but just kind of look into the history of this person more, because they literally made a video game based off the novel Pilgrim's Progress before they made Five Nights at Freddy's. Like there's some interesting stuff in their past, like some very biblical origins and how they were trying to approach gaming, and then eventually they like realized they were really good at drawing animatronic figures, and that became their thing.
I always thought animatronics were really freaky, so I mean, I like that idea of it.
That makes sense.
And I mean, I always wanted to play 1, and you can buy Five Nights at Freddy's 1 for $8 on Switch. It's cheap; it's $7.99. So maybe I'll check it out, but not either of these.
I mean, you can get it for 99 cents or free on iOS, and it's the same game. So
yeah, but
I'd recommend just playing all the early Five Nights at Freddy's on your phone.
But I don't want to. It's supposed to be scary. It needs to be. I want to play it on a big TV in the dark and get scared.
So.
I don't want to
get it on
I don't want
Steam
to.
for
I don't
like
want to play
99
it.
cents.
I don't like playing games on my computer, and it probably won't run on it because it's old. So I'll pay $8 to play it on Switch, so I can play it on a nice TV.
Wow. Okay.
All right, next up is the montage. So let's blast through this. We got Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed, which has a demo out today.
There's actually a demo out. It was out whenever this happened. I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet, but I'll try the demo. I'm not going to buy the game, but I'll try the demo.
Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game, another Animal Crossing-like game, but with Lord of the Rings. Okay,
I'm really
cool.
interested
I see
in
good
that.
market for that.
Well, you actually, I mean, you play as a hobbit, is the idea.
But
you
it's
play,
supposed
you play
to
in
be
the
like
Hobbit
you're
world.
just hanging out, and you're having like
you hang out on the
8
Shire.
breakfasts or whatever a day. Yeah.
I mean, Jess is really interested in it, so we'll probably end up checking it out. I mean, I want to see what it's like. There's Jeremy's other bingo card, Just Dance 2025
I did.
edition.
Just Dance, I guess.
You did get that.
They must
That's
just
coming
flash
out.
it really rapidly.
That's coming out in October. I know John
And then
hates
this game that Trey really wants to play.
Hey, you said you wanted to play it too when we did our last direct
Did I?
podcast. Yeah, go back and listen to it. I edited it, so I
I've
know
changed
you
my
said
mind
that.
since then, if that's true.
Well, we were both interested in it just because of the combination of all the different properties that are in there, and I'm
It
still
looks
kind
like
of
Lego
curious.
Lego
Dimensions
Kids or
too.
some shit.
I'm kind of interested to see how they pull everything together. That doesn't mean I'm going to buy it. I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe I want to be maybe I want to be a Velociraptor and a shark in the same game.
You just
It
want to
never
be the
happened
Deadpool
before.
Funko Pop.
Is he in there? Because sure, Deadpool's fun. I want to shoot things. Anyway, yeah, there's
Like
that
Rick and
game
Morty or something.
coming out in 2024.
EA Sports FC 25, which is notably not FIFA.
That's
but
Football
EA is still
Club, right?
Yeah,
Correct. They're still making soccer games under the title FC. So there it is.
Wasn't
coming
it-
out in
I don't give
September.
the U and the K are missing from how much I give about that.
Isn't it
Nice.
like is it because of the FIFA license? Is that where they're calling it a different thing?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't play those games.
FIFA didn't give them the license again, so I think they wanted more money, and it just didn't work out. So after such a long time, EA does not have the FIFA license, so now they're making their own thing. It's FC 25.
I guess the cool thing that I liked about the Funko Pop game is that He-Man's in there now, and you can play as Orko. I mean, come on, we always wanted to play as Orko. Is He-Man in any other game? No. That's all I'm saying.
Is Orko an indie game? I don't think so.
This is an indie. This is direct. This is the different one. This is the
No, I
part-
said
this
is
is partnership.
Orko in any game. I didn't say indie game. In any game.
He isn't.
It's about
But
time
he
that
is now.
Orko got his Patrick Star from SpongeBob moment. Like, give him his own game.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you can play him in here. You've never been able to play. I mean, I don't think there's any He-Man games that I know of. I remember there's supposed to be a GameCube one.
There's a notable lack of He-Man. There are He-Man games, but there's a notable lack of He-Man games, and certainly I don't think there's any good ones.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I would have played him. I think when I was a kid. But yeah,
I
whatever.
want to
There
be
was-
Dolph Lundgren in 3D.
Yeah, I would like to
I'd
play
take
that
that.
one. I like that movie.
There
like-
was the He-Man series that came out in the early 2000s had some games, I think, on the Game Boy Advance, and maybe even one on the GameCube.
I mean, the one on the GameCube was canceled because I remember I followed it on IGN.
Oh yeah, Lego Horizon Adventures not canceled, still coming holiday.
This
20.
is one of those bizarre things. It was like, it's like the only way we would ever see Horizon Zero Dawn on something that wasn't a Sony console is when it's converted to Lego, and then we get to play it somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really quite get it. You know, it's a Lego.
I don't either.
To me, it doesn't seem like worthy of the Lego license, which by this point has done all the huge thing. You know, you don't think like Harry Potter, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and then Lego Horizon Adventures. It just doesn't add it up to me. But whatever. I guess there's some fans of that game. They might like that.
There was a He-Man game for PlayStation 2 exclusively. No GameCube though. And a Game Boy
there was
Advance
something
one,
in
and
there.
all the other ones were shitty PC games, from what I heard, from what I saw. Well, I mean, they're like '80s PC games. I'm just saying there hasn't been much of them. Yeah, Lego Horizon Adventure. I'm not playing that game. That's that one's coming out. Rune
No, I don't have
Factory,
any.
Factory.
Rune Factory Gardens of Azuma. I actually saw this game. This was years ago. This was like maybe pre-pandemic even. I remember watching a direct done by the company who does Rune Factory, and this game was in there. And I remember seeing it with the two different characters and the dragons, and I thought it was really cool. And now it's actually has a date and all that. So I'm actually interested in it. I think it looks
Spring
cool.
2025.
And Rune Factory,
another one.
for those who, it's like what Harvest Moon sort of became, but also Harvest Moon split off into Story of Seasons, which is like the true successor of Harvest Moon. And Harvest Moon's
split
not
between
really Harvest Moon
Rune Factory, and
then Rune Factory, which there's been a few games that have come to Switch, and most notably the last Rune Factory game that came to Switch was, I guess, really glitchy and like hard to play.
I bought it. Yeah, I bought it because it was on sale. It was, it was okay, but it was kind of boring. But by the time I played it, it had updated stuff or whatever. But the biggest thing, I actually yelled at the TV when I saw this because I thought there was no fucking way in hell that in hell or heaven or earth or wherever we are that Yakuza would ever come to Switch. And
who put this on their bingo card, by the way?
Yeah, and Jeremy, you put it. Did you know things? Did you see?
I didn't know
it rumored
nothing.
anywhere?
I was just like, it's one of those things that in the ether, like most of the shit that I write.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, Yakuza on Switch. Yes, it's happening.
Yeah, right. It's going to be right around the time of the show, so why not? But the creator of Yakuza, who also was the creator of F-Zero GX and Super Monkey Ball, made incredible games. I think he was the one who said that the Switch was a shit system and that he'll never put Yakuza on there, but he actually left the company and went to a different company now. So maybe the rest of the people that were left, I think he called it a toy system or something like that and said it was for kids and that like Yakuza is like too adult for it. Like he totally like...
This is the same person who made Monkey Ball, by the way.
Yeah. Well, he totally talked shit. Sorry. Well, I always figured that he was pissed because Yakuza 1 and 2 were actually put on Wii U in Japan. And Wii U was not sold very well, so they probably blame that for why it never came.
Did Yakuza never come to the Wii U in the US then?
No.
Okay, so this
Only
is the first
Japan.
time it's on a Nintendo system in the US.
If Yakuza 1 and 2 were on Wii U, I would own those. 100%. Like,
for some reason, I thought they did. That they did. I didn't remember.
No, I would have bought those because I love it.
Yakuza Kiwami. Excuse me. Kiwami.
So this is a remake of the first one, right?
So yeah, Yakuza Kiwami is a remake of the original Yakuza game for PlayStation 2, which if you're watching
3,
it,
right?
if you're watching it on the on the Patreon feed, you can see Yakuza 1 on PlayStation 2 playing behind me. It's been playing behind me the whole time. I have the original one, 2005, came out in 2005.
Your PlayStation 2 is like, just let me sleep.
Yeah, it's probably really chugging to get it up there. But I was because I was trying to figure out what to put behind this thing, and I was like, oh my god, I have Yakuza 1. I love Yakuza 1. I remember, because I really wanted to play Yakuza 3 on PS3, so I basically went to a whole bunch of GameStops to find the original Yakuza, and I bought it on sale for like $10. And I played through it on PS2 and loved it, and then I bought Yakuza 2, played through that on PS2, loved it, and later bought a PS3. Played Yakuza 3.
Kiwami is the one that you've always told me I need to play. Like you've recommended it multiple times, and the fact that it's coming to Switch, I'm going to buy it.
$20.
I will buy this.
It's coming out for $20 too. I was afraid that they were going to do some crazy Switch tax and make it like $60 or something.
Nice and cheap.
It's kind of weird they're not doing like a collection because there's like 8 fucking Yakuza games that you could put on Switch right now. But maybe they just want to test the waters with one.
As of now, they're not physically releasing it.
Yeah, well, digital only, as well, which they did with Yakuza 4 and 5. Or no, I have 4 physical. 5 was only digital when that came out.
I actually own a Yakuza game, Like a Dragon.
I have all of them. I have all of them on PS4, but I never beat Kiwami. I've played it, but I never beat that version. But I beat the original Yakuza 1.
Is this the same?
Apparently, Zero is some huge game you never beat.
This is the remake. This is the remake of the one that I got you. Yes, I got you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yakuza 1 on PlayStation 2, and this is a remake of that game.
But my PS2 is broken.
Yeah, your PS2 doesn't work, but I think you'll enjoy it.
Maybe you just have it run for a really long time in the background, like Trey does, and it'll keep working.
Mine is still chugging on. But no, it's a remake of the first game. I think you'll like it, John. It's like it's a very, very light RPG. It has RPG mechanics. But what's great about Yakuza is the story is incredible. Kiryu Kazuma is one of the best characters of all time. I love him. But what's so great about Yakuza is it can be silly when it wants to be. It can be serious when it wants to be. It has some like really incredible storylines. Like at one point you'll be like, fucking fighting people on top of a semi truck, like blasting down Tokyo Highway or whatever. And then the next moment you'll be hiring a chicken or whatever. That's Yakuza 0. But that's just like it can be super silly or it can be really.
Did you say hiring a chicken?
Yeah, in Yakuza 0, you hire a chicken to manage a property that you have because you have your own like properties. I'm just saying like that's what's so great about the games. Like you have like this intense story, the main story, and then all of a sudden there's some weird shit, and you're trying to get this guy who's running around in his underwear to stop exposing himself to random restaurants or something like that. That's like how great these games are. Or like what was it?
I've heard good things about Infinite Wealth, like that.
Yeah.
It's got some pretty deep sim stuff in it.
Well, yeah, Infinite Wealth has its own Animal Crossing game inside of it. It has its own like cozy game in there. So, and what was it? Yakuza 3, you basically take pictures with your flip phone of people, and that gives you new fighting moves. So, like, you see a drunk guy getting pushed out of a bar or whatever, and then you were like, oh, if I'm drunk, I can do this move that he does, and then you learn this fighting move. Like, there's just all these like really cool, unique stuff in the Yakuza games, and I hope you love it.
Drunken Master.
Like I said, the stories are always awesome. The characters are great. Yeah, hooray! It's on Switch.
I'm happy it's coming to Switch, and I take full credit for why it is because I wrote it down.
Thank you, Jeremy.
I couldn't believe it. Like I really yelled at the TV. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like because I never thought it was going to happen. I really didn't. But yeah, that's the direct, and I know we're at like 2.5 hours. Do you guys? We'll just, do you want to talk about whatever you're playing? I have a lot of my stuff on mine, but most of it I've already talked about, and I can just run through it really quick. Let's just talk about the games we got and games that we've been playing. Sure. I bought a PlayStation 3 game. I bought Marvel's Capcom 3, the original one, for $15. No shipping. Free shipping from eBay. And I got it in like 2 days because it came from Michigan. And I beat it with my leverless controller. And what I'm trying to do, this is my new thing. I'm going to play through every fighting game that I have that I can play with the leverless controller. I'm going to beat the arcade mode on every fighting game that I have. So I've been checking off the stuff on the list. I beat Street Fighter 3 while I was editing. I beat Super Street Fighter 4. I beat Capcom versus SNK 2 twice. The second time I got the good ending. If you go through the whole game without any continues, you get the specific bad guy where you unlock the super boss. So I got the Shin Akuma. You get you either get Shin Akuma or Ultimate Rugal, depending on who you play as. So if you have more Capcom characters than SNK characters, you get an SNK boss. Or if you have more SNK characters, you have a Capcom boss. Is the way it works. But anyway, I did that. I beat that. Street Fighter X Tekken, I beat that game on arcade mode. Ultra Street Fighter 2, which was the first Street Fighter game that came out on Switch. It was like $40. It's actually on sale for $20 right now. But Joe was talking about it when we were playing online. I was like, oh, I should try that. And I went and I played it again, and I can do the Dragon Punch shortcut with the leverless controller, it seems like way too easy to do it. It's just like doing tap, forward, punch, and you can just Dragon Punch like crazy. Like I was doing the things I always dreamed of doing, like when Vega jumps on the wall and comes down on you, and you just Dragon Punch him right in the face right when he gets there. Like you can time it so well. But yeah, I was doing that, and Marvel's Capcom 3, I beat that. I re-downloaded all the fighting games that I have on Switch just to have them on there. And I'm hoping to stream some of the weird ones. I want to do like Waku Waku 7 or definitely I want to do like the Turtles fighting game that's on the Cowabunga collection. I re-downloaded that too. Or like Killer Instinct 1. I've been afraid to go back to that one because I'm not as good as I used to be when I was a kid, but I want to go try it again. Weird shit like that. And also I bought the Hot 42 booter so I can play it on PS5. But I found it on a website where it was much cheaper. So let's see if it actually comes or not. It's supposed to come next week. I bought it for like $20, so it wasn't that much, but we'll see where it comes with that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. I played Time Splitters 2 some more. I only got a couple levels left before I beat it. So I got pretty close. And last week I said that I didn't think I'd ever played through it on normal. I totally played through it on normal because that's how you get the extra games, and I've totally played those games that are on there. So I've definitely played through this game on normal before. And I use save states like crazy for Neo Tokyo because that level is annoying as fuck. You have to follow this lady through like all of this Blade Runner dystopia world, and if she sees you once or if any of the cops see you or cameras, you have to start from the beginning again. So save state that shit because it's really annoying to try to get through it without. But that's good for me.
Well, I can fly through my shit pretty quick too. Just my nickname at the beginning, or what I said at the beginning about my shadow is behind me is tree shaped. What did that mean? Well, it meant that I finally beat Shadow of the Erd Tree.
I got that reference.
Yeah. So I beat it. It's behind me, and I don't have any reason to play Elden Ring again ever. To be honest, like I might go back to it at some point, but I don't have really any motivation to play it anymore. Like I think I can just hang up my Elden Ring hat now.
New DLC announced tomorrow. Guarantee it.
I mean, I'll play it if it happens.
I mean, if
but
there's more
I'm
DLC,
still
you'll do
saying-
it. But as of right now, what's available, you're done with it.
I'm done with it. And you know what? I will say I use summons. I summoned player characters to help me out. I brought back I played for my PlayStation just enough to beat this game. Like I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get the online mode. Pay for the most basic the PlayStation PSN account I can have.
Oh, did you bring it back just for the Erd Tree?
I brought it back just
Yeah.
just so that I could continue to like play games online.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the most like base level I can have
Yeah, that's what
for
I
the
had.
next year. I paid for like a whole year of it just so it's like
Oh, wow.
fine. But
Oh, I thought you were just going to
I
do
mean,
it for
it
like
was
the
cheap.
month.
It was like I think it was like $40 or something for like the
Oh,
whole
okay.
year of just
Yeah, I was paying like
most basic online features.
I was paying $10 a month. I think I'll keep the premium for one more month just to play through the rest of the Time Splitter games, and then I'll cut it back to the.
I still can't play
minimum.
most of the games I downloaded other than the ones I've paid for. So yeah, I still have a much more limited PlayStation 5 library right now, but the stuff that's left that I can play, I mean, I guess it's all right. But yeah, I just wanted to say I beat it. I'm happy about it. The end. I guess I'm done with that game.
You did it.
I played more Balatro mostly because I wanted to test out the new
DLC.
card faces and stuff. And while doing that, I actually unlocked the plasma deck, which I've been trying to unlock for probably close to a month now. So I finally did, and it's the weirdest deck ever. I think it's the last deck you get other than I think there's a deck you get for like finishing everything, but I think it's just an it's just like aesthetically looks different. I think I've got the last deck that functions differently, as an individual deck. So good for me. I did it.
So you beat the game now that you put like hundreds of hours into it or
I
whatever.
don't know if I'd say I've beat it, but it is enough for where I'm kind of like, I don't really feel like playing anymore. So it's definitely worth mentioning, which I said earlier, that I am kind of in like
Purgatory.
I am kind of in a purgatory, but it's the timing is great because I get married as of where we're recording today, 1 month from today. So now it's time to hunker down and focus on, real life stuff. Not that video games don't count, but I'm gonna have a lot to come back to after my. I'm gonna play video games this month. I'm not saying that I'm not going to, but I'm gonna kind of get out of touch for a bit because I've just got too much to do this month, and I'm kind of looking forward to, sometime in the next month and a half or whatever, when I can actually sit down with the new Zelda game, which will have already been out and stuff. And
Sure, yeah. I mean,
all
it's
that,
coming
but,
out like days before the wedding.
Literally
It's
2 days
it's very
before I get
close,
married.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I said I was in video game purgatory, because like I've got all these games I can play, but like as far as the ones I was obsessing over, like including Nintendo World Championship, like I don't think I've really played it this week. I might have played it once or twice, but I went from playing it like constantly to now that I've unlocked everything, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like they need to do more to like
Yeah,
entice me to play it.
for sure. They do.
But I did play the Emio Famicom Detective.
Oh, yes.
Demo.
I saw you played a couple demos.
I don't like it. It's not for me. It's like I don't know. It doesn't seem very
Intuitive.
right. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem very cerebral in how you play it. Like it really seems like it comes down to just clicking the same thing over and over again sometimes, or like cycling through and doing it in the right order or whatever. But it's just like choosing things off a menu, but it doesn't really feel like, at least thus far, it doesn't really feel like a game is so much as like a novel with things in the way. Like you got to push them out of the way. You got to keep pushing them until they're out of the way, and then you can read more. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not really into it. I understand, like, the Famicom Detective Club games are legendary and important and all that.
Yeah.
But it's just not really up my alley. I don't think I like this style of game at all. Maybe it would make sense if I was on a train and it's all I had, and then maybe I would like it. But as far as an actual video game, it feels less like a video game than like like a choose your own adventure story or something. But like
If you were forced to play it,
even
like
less like involved in that. Yeah. I played the Bakeru demo. You've been talking about that for a while.
Yeah,
so I did actually.
I saw you played it. I was happy that you got to play. I mean, I hope you.
Yeah,
didn't,
I played all the different levels. I played everything, and I really did
pretty
like
fun, right?
The kaiju battle was really fun. That was my favorite part for sure.
The kaiju battle is really cool because it's kind of got a little bit of punch outness in there. Actually, kind of remind me of Arms too, like where kind of like how you can move around, and it's got like a Star Effects-esque dogfighting flying level too. That's really cool. I was much more excited about it from playing those, and I'm still planning on getting that. That's coming out next week. And
I think it reminded me more of Pocky and Rocky than like
than Mystical
Gomon,
Ninja.
but yeah, maybe I got to play more Gomon. But
I mean, did you ever play the 64 one? Because it reminds me of that one, the single player one.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it with you.
Well, we played the 2-player one, but there's one that was like Zelda kind of. This sort of, I guess it's maybe a mix of one and two for 64. But yeah, no, I'm still planning on getting that one. It's on sale for like $35, I think. So yeah, it's not that bad.
And I have no idea at all why I did this, but I was like, it's hard to believe that Odyssey came out as long ago as it did. Like, and like I remember it being so hyped up and like everybody loving it so much, and that it's kind of funny how like people have kind of cooled on the game since it came out. I don't think that people necessarily hate it, but it's kind of like got the revisionist history of like, it was good for the time, but maybe there's parts of it. So I actually started an all new game, on a different profile, on my Japanese profile. I was like, I'm just gonna restart Odyssey from the beginning, and yeah, I still like it. I think it's fun, but it does feel, I don't know, it feels like the pacing is weird. I don't know if I like the pacing of it. But that's about all I have to say. Other than that, it's still pretty fun.
My big problem with it was that the moons didn't feel as important as the stars did in 64. Like, I understand, like, they don't want you to, like, I have to restart the whole level and all that, but it was just like, you just get...
They're like coins.
Well, plus, eventually, you can just buy all your mans.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was as much of an event as the... I mean, yeah, there were parts that were like events, like the final boss and that really hard thing that I flew over that you guys were stuck on, but which you can actually find that on YouTube of me beating it. But I don't know. It didn't have the... They weren't as special as all the stars had their own like specialness.
Way too easy. Yeah. I know it gets hard at the end, and I remember being really hard at the end. But so far, I've played through a couple of bosses. I'm actually like in this file. I have like I was about to go to New Donk City, and then you crash or something, and that's where I'm at right now. You like crash on an island, and you have to get off that island. So that's where I'm at in the game. Who knows if I'll keep playing it, but it does hold. I mean, it holds up well. It's so easy. It's like so easy. Like the bosses I've beaten every boss in my first try thus far. And I know I've played it before, but still it's like, were they really this easy? Like back then? I don't know. I don't remember.
It does
have a really easy game.
It does have some really cool moments though. No, not that, like New Donk City had some really fun stuff. Like, especially when you go through the thing and like all the Donkey Kong and all that stuff.
I do remember like one thing that this brought up when I played it though was a thought, because I don't know if it was you or John. It was like calling it now like one of the wonder effects is going to be going back to old Mario, like in Super Mario Wonder, and that actually never happened in the game. They never did pull that card.
They do it in Odyssey, but I like.
But they
that
do it a
part of
lot in Odyssey.
Yeah.
They do it a lot in
cool.
Odyssey, and it's really cool how they do it.
Yeah, I actually like that. Like, yeah, because it kind of makes it 2D, and I liked how every song had like an 8-bit version of it, like on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I always thought that was really cool. Also,
and whatever outfit you're wearing, like there's a 2D sprite version of that, which is really cool too.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of detail in there, and that was really cool.
But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Like I said, I think I covered my quotes at the beginning. I explained those. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'm getting ready to camp for the weekend, so I won't be gaming much this next week.
I figured you would do some Labor Day shit or whatever. That's
we always go camping on like for a few days.
So not too much for me. I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom some more. I infiltrated the Yiga clan that was big thing that I did this week. Yeah. Beyond that, referencing my name and all that at the top, I found a PC that I actually forgot that I own. Like, remember a week or two ago, I was saying, "Oh yeah, I want to maybe eventually get a cheap PC and build up a little PC gaming station." I have one. I just I've had it for 2 years and I totally forgot about it.
Where was it? Like in a container somewhere, and you were like, "Oh yeah."
It was in a duffel bag. So like 2 years ago, Rich gave me a portable printer. He said he just had it from his job, and his job gave it to me, and he never beyond that for the 1 gig that he had. And he said, "Hey, you want this?"
Yeah, it's not
printer?
much space.
Oh yeah, 1 gig, nice. Yeah, so he gave it to me. But my interest was the printer at the time. I just thought I've been wanting a portable printer. I thought that'd be a useful thing to have. I've been stuck in a couple situations sometimes where I'm on a trip and need something printed, and then I end up having to go to find a FedEx office, and it's a whole ordeal and all that. So I thought I intended to buy one, and then one just kind of fell into my lap. And at the time, the cheap laptop was just like incidental. There's just something else that was in the bag. I didn't need it or want it, but there it was. I completely forgot about it until I was cleaning my apartment the other day and pulled that bag out. And, yep. So I got a cheap PC now. I don't know if it's any good. I really don't know current PC specs. What's the standard? What's good for gaming and all that stuff right now? I'd have to look into it a little bit more. I'm sure it's not that great. I don't know how old this thing is, but I mean, the stickers were still up and use it. So yeah, I got something at least, however much it is, however good it is. I got something. I'm over my podcast area and try to get something going.
I figured it would be like you could make it your emulation station. I mean, if at the least, if you wanted to, you should try some of like that Wii emulator that you had on Mac that never worked. You should try that
Often.
It
works sporadically. I got it to work here and there. But
like Captain Rainbow and all that, you should try doing that on a PC, because most of the time things work better on that than Mac. And last week when you were like you wanted to get a cheap PC, honestly, just PCs, just even great ones, are like a fifth of the price of Macs. Like Mac's prices are so fucking stupid. Like you could get like the best PC there is, and it's still like a quarter of the price of a new Mac. Like, it's really stupid. Sure. The price difference. But even if it's an older one, like I said, you could still like just load it up with some emulators and play some
do that.
Some Super Nintendo and GameCube
TV.
shit or
That's
whatever.
all I need to do.
So, and does it have like HDMI out and all that? Like, could you like plug it in? And
I don't know. I didn't really look around that much.
I mean,
I pretty much found it, and then I had to jet to go dog sit over here where I'm at right now.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, I mean, my 2011 Mac laptop I'm using right now has HDMI out, so I mean, it probably has it on that thing in some form, So
yeah, probably so. Yeah, it's a little PC. It's only a 13-inch, but I would have it stationed at my desk and hooked up to a TV anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I was just saying it should have an output where you can easily put it on a TV. And, you could probably sync your 8BitDo to it, too, if you wanted to. If you ended up doing Steam or whatever, That shouldn't be too hard either as well. But, yeah, we made it through all of our stuff. So
we made it through.
Yeah.
Yes, as far as news goes, I mean, I think the only thing...
the Direct.
The news was the Direct. We had like an hour and a half of news, or 2 hours of news or whatever.
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
It's the main thing. I guess one thing we could mention, which I got a text from Shake about this too, of course, is the possibility of Guilty Gear Strive coming to Switch, because somebody like leaked a photo showing that it was coming to Switch.
At PAX West,
at PAX West,
there's a banner
which is
there,
coming
PAX
up.
West, so.
And
days, I guess we'll hear about it.
Guilty Gear games. I remember playing it the first time, the Dreamcast version of it with Jeremy in Kentucky. Our friend Brian had it, and it was just. This is the time when everybody was trying to do like 3D fighting, like Tekken and Virtua Fighter and all this stuff. But,
Guilty Gear is the one that's like heaven or hell or whatever.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's like heaven or hell. Let's rock. It's like what it says at the beginning. But no, it was just like the sprite animation was so good. Like the characters look so beautiful, and the way I actually did buy a Guilty Gear game for Wii, and I have a Game Boy Advance one also. But there's a couple of them on Switch already, and I didn't know what to get. But if they put Strive on there, that's the most recent one, and apparently it's really good, and I will buy it if they put it on there. So, hooray, more fighting games. Fighting games are awesome. Play them.
Especially when you have a leverless flight stick.
If you got a leverless fighter, it's fun.
Or a fight stick.
Yeah. Leverless controller, whatever. G16.
Mine is both inclineless and pulley-less and other simple machines.
Sure.
The only things that I wanted to mention was some movies. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 had a trailer come out this week. Actually, I thought the trailer looks pretty good. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised by number 2. So maybe this one could be a good one too.
I liked number 2 more than I thought, but I liked it because it had a lot more Sonic characters in it. They need to just dump the Cyclops dude and just move on.
Yeah, they should. He's in number 3, but hopefully they do the same thing. Just if you got to have him in there, send him off to Hawaii again. I don't care what the reason is. Send him to Hawaii and then focus on Sonic and all that. But I think the trailer kind of indicates that they're gonna do the same, or we'll focus on Sonic, where he's the main character and not the side, not a supporting character as he was in the first movie. He seems to be the main character in this one, and I like the dynamic between all the Sonic and Knuckles and Tails, and now Shadow. Shadow seems also accurate to how he was portrayed in the games, and I don't know, it seems pretty good.
Played by Keanu Reeves. I
forgot about that. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, we'll see how that goes. I mean, I like.
Did you guys watch the trailer?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's worth a look.
I don't watch. I mean, I don't watch trailers for stuff I want to see. I mean, I do kind of want to see. I'm not going to go to the theater to see Sonic 3, but I'll watch it when it's on Paramount Plus.
One that I don't want to see is the Crow remake, which officially is a bomb.
It's doing great. My friend Brian Dressel, who's been on this show before, actually was kind of an inspiration for me to start podcasting because he was the only person I knew who had a podcast before I had one. I saw him posted on Facebook. He's like, I'm tired of seeing good movies, so I thought I'd see a bad movie, and he went to go see The Crow. And I saw a bunch of my friends. Bad, right? He said it was awful, but I saw a bunch of my friends post on it, and I commented on it. I said I'm waiting for the Crow City of Angels remake, and then I'll go see it because that's the one that I actually like a lot. Still, I need to watch it again.
I just want to watch City of Angels,
but I loved it when it came out. Iggy Pop is awesome in it. He's a great character.
I want to watch the Nicolas Cage, John Travolta movie, City of Angels.
I know you say that every time I mention it, but the Crow one is better, much better, because it's got a.
Do they sit on?
Pop was good in it.
Do they sit on overpasses while cars drive by? No.
Well, I mean, actually, the girl who played
Does the movie even have the Goo Goo Dolls?
Exactly.
The soundtrack for The Crow 2 was really good.
It was good. Yeah,
it was actually really awesome. It had Hole in there. That whole song was badass for that movie. I'm just saying. No, that soundtrack was almost as good as the original one. Oh man, dropping big claims over here. I know a lot of people say that, but yeah. Anyway, The Crow 2 was a good movie, or at least I loved it when it came out. But the lady who plays older Sarah, actually plays Spock's mom on Star Trek Discovery now, and she's pretty hot. So check that out.
That's not logical.
Even as Spock's mother. So yeah. But yeah, the new Crow looks like shit. And I mean, did anybody think it was going to be good? No.
So it only made $4-point-something million this weekend. They were aiming for 8 or 9, and it's a $50 million budget. And the fans all hate it, and the director has spent the last couple of days on Facebook movie. It's like
the original.
Toast.
Wait, sorry that you cut. You cut
the
off.
director of the original movie.
You cut off there. You're saying the original director. Well, he was throwing
the original director. Yeah.
He was throwing heat at it before it even came out. He was already saying it.
Yeah, but did any of the other guys' main actors die? Yeah, he might have failed as a director.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean, he was
sorry if that was. I mean, sorry.
Well, he was already throwing shit at that, saying that it was disrespectful to remake a movie. Yeah, of disrespectful against the legacy of Brandon Lee and all that stuff. Like he was saying that before it even happened, and that it was a cash grab.
Yeah,
and he said it again.
That's not allowed to say that because you made the movie.
Well, he didn't. He didn't load the gun, or I don't know. Whatever. It was. Yeah. I mean, it's a tragic story. I don't know.
Should have directed better.
They did. Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, he actually. Yeah, I was listening to the 30-20-10 episode about the Crow. You should listen to that one if you haven't.
Yeah, I listened to that one too.
Yeah, where he actually, I didn't know where he actually got shot, and he was shot in like the flashback stuff because he had to cut his hair.
Yeah.
So, because there's the part where he gets shot by 20 people, and I always thought that was when he actually died. But
That's what I thought too. I think that's what everybody just kind of, know, the rumor.
He actually gets killed when he actually gets killed. So when Eric Draven is just Eric Draven, and he gets shot in the flashback, that's when he actually died in real life. Was that shot? So, yeah, because they did the flashback stuff at the end and they'd shot most of the movie already, and all that stuff. But yeah.
This week, I'm sure because of this movie, Entertainment Tonight put out something on YouTube. It's like a whole 20-minute video on the Crow and the tragedy, and actually, it was probably the most informed I've ever officially been on that situation. I've all just heard rumors from friends and fellow fans and all that kind of stuff, and they had interviews with his mother and his sister and all that. Not the current interviews, but from back at the time.
Sure, yeah.
And so I felt if you've ever been curious about what really happened on the set of The Crow, look up Entertainment Tonight's video they put out on YouTube this week, and they'll kind of break it down a little bit more. And yeah, I'm just I don't know. I'm not on the side of never do another Crow movie. I'm on the side of don't do more Eric Draven.
Yeah, just do a different, because there's a bunch of different ones.
Do a different one. Yeah, do the comics did
like the Crow City of Angels. Do that one. No, I'm kidding. Do a different one. You don't have to do that
That's
one.
It.
I mean, that one is perfect already the way it is. Leave it alone. David S. Goyer, he's a Chicago guy, I think. I mean, he wrote Blade, the Blade trilogy, and the fucking Dark Knight trilogy too. And Dark City was a writer on that. I saw him
at. I went to see Dark City, which was fantastic. I think
Dark City's great. Dark City was the Matrix before the Matrix. I always said that called out the Matrix for ripping off Dark City.
It is one of the best movies.
I mean, they all ripped off Plato's Cave, but movies. Still,
yeah.
I mean, they all ripped off a story as old as time or whatever.
Yeah, I got to.
And he read that story on a wall.
Yeah.
I got to see the movie at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood, and David Goyer did a Q&A afterward. Just great experience. But back to The Crow. This movie, I was so conflicted about whether or not to see it, because I would like to see new Crow movies, but just not Eric Draven. And I think there's so much opportunity for real creativity in there.
Definitely not Skarsgård. I'm kidding. He's fine. He's fine. I mean, he was all right as Pennywise, I guess. Even that second movie sucked.
No, he's cool. I'm not upset with the choice of actor and all that. It's just don't bring back Eric Draven. Leave that character alone.
The Crow sucks so much that Sting actually came back at the last pay-per-view. He was so mad. At AEW All In. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. Motherfucking Sting came back. I've been retired by like 8 months or whatever. He fucking came back in All In, probably because he was all pissed about the Crow remake. I don't think so, but I thought it was funny that it's like, oh hey, there's Sting again. He couldn't stay away. So we saw him come back, but yeah, I wanted to relate it to the shitty Crow remake in some way.
Sure, I'll see this movie eventually at some point.
I'll watch it maybe when it's on Paramount Plus or Max or something.
Maybe I'll catch the riff
tracks. I already have. I'll watch it on something that I already have. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we can make a trip and we'll hang out and have some beers and watch it and look at how bad it is.
Nice. All right. Well, it's getting late. I think we're good.
Let's end this episode, please. It's almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So that's been our big, gigantic episode. Still shorter than our top 10 N64 episode, which will be out soon on Patreon. Go listen to that. Go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and listen to that. I'm pretty close to editing it. I got less than an hour left. I just got to the point where John left the show, so spoilers. But when you dropped your top 5 and we went to, I'm right at that spot. But check that out on Patreon.com and find us on Twitch. Me on Twitch.tv/NintenDomain podcast for the Monday stream. If you subscribe, you get 3 months free of Apple TV and all that. If you want that on there. Also, a Nintendo_domain on Twitter or NintenDomain on Blue Sky. You can find us on there. Find us on Facebook. You can comment on stuff. Yeah, and YouTube also. Like I got like 2 comments from somebody on YouTube that was like, "I love this show. I'm gonna watch it every week." I was like, "Okay, sure, yeah," or listen
Thanks.
to it. There's no video; it's just a
Yay.
picture. But yeah,
Hey, we need fans, so
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
we appreciate you.
but yeah, YouTube.com/NintenDomain podcast. It's there too. It's all over the place. But yeah, thanks for listening to the whole thing, and of course, thanks to all our patrons who are listening to this or watching it as well for your support. We always appreciate
Hell
you.
yeah.
And we've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson,
I'm Jerry Mikowski.
John Nitter.
and thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
See ya. ×2 directs.
See you, Fighting Collection 3,
There you go.
coming
I like
out in
that.
2026, with rival schools in it.
CU hosted the AEW match tonight.
That's true. I want to watch that. I need to watch it now. So get out of here. It's going to go on for like for like 2 more minutes. That poor dog has had enough dancing for now, I think.
The dog's like, I better get some pizza for all this shit.
That song was called Puppy Love, and that's why John was dancing with the dog. Because the dog loves it.
Aw.
Because puppies love that song, right? That's what
I love that
Earthworm
puppy.
Jim-
I want to hug that puppy.
That's where Earthworm Jim says. It's a very huggable fur ball over there.